A new day arrived at the Divine Convenience Store, and the pair of manager and assistant stepped out from their quarters and into the store, already decked in their striped uniforms. Liu Xiaoyu went around to check the inventory room to see if everything was restocked or whether there was a new product to be placed. Lin Mo, on the other hand, checked the fourth day's daily tasks. Attract new customers. 0020. Sell expensive items worth 20 spirit stones and above. 05. Repeat customers. 010. Not much has changed, but the system must have been thinking that as word of Divine Convenience Store spread to the sects that visited yesterday, more disciples would be curious to visit. Hence, an increase in requirement. Getting 10 repeat customers, however, will be the hardest one. After mulling over it for a while, his eyes then moved to more system messages that flooded in during their sleep. System calibration. As suggested by a customer yesterday, the prices have now been set to reflect the quality of the spirit stones needed for purchase. Some of the product's prices have been adjusted to ensure every customer is going to get their spirit stones worth. For complaints that may arise for the vague pricing from the past 3 days, do refer them to the Divine Convenience Store hotline. The exchange value of spirit stones may be different outside the store. A piece of high-grade spirit stone is equivalent to 10 intermediate-grade spirit stones or 100 low-grade spirit stones. This is fixed. The loyalty card requirement will be changed to the total accumulated purchases of 100 high-grade spirit stones or the equivalent of it for lower-quality spirit stones. After the change, 3 customers have become eligible to receive a loyalty card: Yan Wei, Yu Mingguo, and Lin Yuanji. I thought someone of Tai Hao's caliber in the Divine Pantheon is needed to apply that change, but I guess this means we're done scamming the rich. In any case, I'm more intrigued about the hotline. When did we get that? He looked around him and saw something pasted on the wall not far from the counter. It looked like the poster of an advertisement, but it's actually an announcement about the Divine Convenience Store's customer support hotline. Written in elegant calligraphy, the poster displayed, "Have questions, concerns, a burning desire for answers? Dial 88 Divine 88 348463 from your favorite communication artifact for instant access to the Divine Convenience Store hotline available. Hours: whenever we're open. Note: complaints about pricing adjustments prior to the 4th day of opening will be prioritized. Thank you for your understanding." Lin Mo read it twice, blinking in disbelief. 88 Divine? Seriously? Who's running this hotline? Is it you, Tai Hao? Liu Xiaoyu returned from the inventory room just in time to hear him muttering to himself. She tilted her head curiously. "Boss, are you talking to the wall again?" Lin Mo pointed at the poster. "We have a hotline now. Did you know about this?" Liu Xiaoyu skipped over and read the poster, her face turning into a frown as she tilted her head. "What's a hotline, boss?" Lin Mo face-palmed as she remembered that there wasn't that kind of concept here in the realm of 9 heavens. With a crooked smile, he explained, "It's a service that deals with picking up customer complaints, Xiaoyu. It's a concept from my previous world. Tai Hao or someone from the Divine Pantheon must have brought that up in order to help us deal with them. In any case, a communication artifact should be the same as that walkie-talkie, right?" "Oh, you mean the Radiant Whisper device, boss?" "Yes. It's considered a communication artifact, but it's different from the normal ones made from jade crystals. Anyone can input those numbers, but it's hardly reliable unless one knows the exact contact." It was Lin Mo's turn to furrow his brows. "Right. Telecommunication isn't foreign here. They're just not done through the wires or regulated by a central system like back on Earth. Instead, they rely on spiritual energy and unique frequencies. I wonder who's on the other end of this hotline. Is it automated? Or is there some poor celestial being tasked with taking calls all day?" He glanced at the hotline poster again, shaking his head in bemusement. "I guess we'll never find out unless we ask Tai Hao or Li Hua when they show up again." Thankfully, it will save us from getting yelled at about how we robbed them blind on day one. Liu Xiaoyu clapped her hands together, her ears twitching excitedly. Oh, boss, if they ever bring the hotline here, can I answer it? I've always wanted to say, thank you for calling the Divine Convenience Store. How may I assist you? Doesn't it sound so professional? Lin Mo flicked her forehead. You don't have to worry about that, you little. You're my assistant, not a call operator. With a pout, Liu Xiaoyu glared at Lin Mo, but she didn't push it anymore. Instead, she stuck her tongue out before running away to continue checking on the other shelves. Sometime later, as there were still a few minutes before the opening time of the Divine Convenience Store, Lin Mo also left the counter and stood in front of the shelf displaying the cultivation manuals. He'd finally taken his first few steps into the world of cultivation, and the feeling of spiritual energy flowing through him was still both exhilarating and bewildering. Now it was time to choose a breathing technique. He ran his fingers over the spines of the various manuals, the titles sounding more like mystical riddles than instructions. The Soaring Crane's Ascent, The Whispering Willow Flow, The Mountain's Heartbeat Rhythm, and more. Each one seemed to offer a unique path to power. They weren't just manuals of breathing techniques. They also had illustrations, notes, and warnings about each of the technique's disadvantages, and most likely, they were all lost manuals, like the Blossoming Lotus breathing technique that Yan Chen bought yesterday. He could still remember its details since he skimmed through it. It was described as a manual that sought a balance between the body and spirit. But was that really what Lin Mo needed at the moment? He had always been someone who thought strategically, and that should also apply to his cultivation techniques. Boss, what are you doing? Are you still thinking of those old books? Liu Xiaoyu's voice broke his concentration as she hopped closer with her usual boundless energy. Lin Mo sighed, gesturing at the shelf. I'm trying to choose a proper breathing technique. I can now tap into spiritual energy, and it's time for me to pick something that fits. What do you think? Which one should I pick? Liu Xiaoyu's eyes widened as she leaned in closer, her gaze darting over the various manuals, each one more foreign to her than the last. That depends on your preferences, boss. Some are for speed, some for strength, and others for defense. But considering your trait, She paused, her brow furrowing as she carefully scrutinized each manual, her fingers tapping against her chin. After a while, she snapped her fingers, her gaze turning to a new manual at the very end of the second level of the shelf. Silent Stream Breathing Technique. This one, boss. The Silent Stream Breathing Technique. This is from an obscure intermediate grade sect that has only been recorded vaguely in history. I think it's called Profound Stream Sect. It enhances control over the flow of spiritual energy and increases perception of your surroundings. It also allows your body to passively take in spiritual energy while maintaining the speed of your energy cycle. Perfect for someone like you who seems to draw in spiritual energy like a sponge. Hiding how he marveled at Xiaoyu's knowledge, Lin Mo raised an eyebrow, pulling the manual off the shelf. Through the Divine System interface, he was able to read the description that she mentioned. It's also described as a rare technique for those with naturally attuned spiritual core, but Lin Mo didn't know what that meant. All that he knew was that he was given perfect spiritual resonance from the blessing of his celestial providence. Heaven's favor. And how do you know all this? He asked, studying the illustrations. This book has the same vibe as the one Tai Hao gave me. She puffed up her chest as she confidently lied through her teeth. I've read it yesterday, when you're busy lazing around the counter. Anyway, boss, I thought this would fit you best. The silent stream breathing technique is known for being very subtle, allowing its practitioner to blend in with the environment while passively accumulating spiritual energy. It might even help. You mask the effect of your celestial providence. You're going to start drawing in a lot of spiritual energy around you. It will also give you a proper means of utilizing it on your own. And also, her smile turned into a sly grin. It will give you more time to be a diligent shopkeeper. Lin Mo smirked. All right, I'll take your word for it, my wise assistant. If this doesn't work, I'll charge you with half of its price. He picked it up and used his personal balance to pay for it. It costs him 50 spirit stones. With the changes in pricing, their wages and bonus getting added to their personal balance turned out to be also equivalent to a high-grade spirit stone. Come on, boss. Don't be petty like that. Your cute, prodigious assistant is graciously helping you out. It's still your choice whether to listen to me or not. Sure. Call me when it's time to open the store. I'll go and study this inside. With that, Lin Mo retreated to their quarters, leaving his assistant behind, who immediately nodded and began hopping back to check out the shelves again. Settling back onto his bed and sitting down in a lotus position, Lin Mo took a deep breath to start his meditation. The only sound in the room was the soft hum of the store's mystical energy, creating a serene atmosphere. After clearing his mind, he exhaled and placed the silent stream breathing technique manual on the table. Despite its sleek, new modern-style cover, it emanated a faint spiritual glow, proving its authenticity. He flipped open the manual, and his eyes instantly focused on the pages filled with intricate diagrams and flowing script. The first section detailed the technique's core philosophy. Like a stream flowing through the earth, spiritual energy must be guided with patience and precision. Let it flow naturally, and it will nourish the Dantian without disruption. Force it, and the stream will overflow, leaving chaos in its wake. Lin Mo nodded to himself. The technique's emphasis on subtlety and control aligned well with his own cautious nature. He began reading the introductory steps, which described a specific breathing rhythm that mimicked the gentle ebb and flow of a stream. As he started practicing, he felt a slight resistance at first, like trying to match the rhythm of a song he'd never heard before. But as he focused, the spiritual energy around him seemed to respond, flowing toward him in a gentle, steady stream. Even though his comprehension was still lacking, he could sense that it was the effect of his perfect spiritual resonance. Resonating with the surrounding spiritual energy felt like second nature to him. His Dantian, now more attuned to accumulating energy within after his subsequent breakthrough yesterday, absorbed them with surprising ease. Lin Mo couldn't but smile, inwardly, as the sensation was different from his earlier attempts at cultivation. It is calmer and smoother than ever. If Xiaoyu could see him at the moment, she'd be shocked at how quickly his body devoured the surrounding spiritual energy. Even without the use of a spirit stone or a pill that could enhance absorption, his efficiency was more than 10 times. Time passed unnoticed as Lin Mo immersed himself in the practice, and at each minute, his comprehension of the silent stream. Breathing technique deepened. After what felt like hours, a soft chime echoed in his mind. When he opened his eyes, the system panels flashed in front of his eyes. Celestial Providence activated. Silent stream breathing technique has been permanently enhanced. Passive spiritual energy absorption, 100% efficiency. Spiritual perception, 200% range. Permanently enhanced. Just like that. Heaven's favor is so OP. And Xiaoyu wasn't kidding, this technique really is something else, he muttered, a satisfied smile on his face. The passive spiritual energy absorption was already impressive, but the expanded perception range was what truly caught his attention. He closed his eyes and focused, allowing his newfound spiritual perception to stretch outward. He could sense the faint hum of the store's mechanisms, the subtle fluctuations in Liu Xiaoyu's spiritual energy as she moved about the shop, and even the distant ripple of energy from the early risers in Fanling City. It's like having a radar, Lin Mo mused, his lips curling into a small smile. This will definitely come in handy. As he stood up, he felt a newfound lightness in his steps. His body felt stronger and more attuned to the world around him. He glanced at his Dantian and confirmed that it was steadily filling with spiritual energy even without active effort. But before he could revel in his progress, a familiar voice called from outside. "Boss, it's time to open the store, and we've already got a line forming." Lin Mo sighed, closing the manual and setting it aside. No rest for the diligent shopkeeper, huh? All right, let's start this new day and aim for higher sales than yesterday. As if! Rather than higher sales, they'd surely be faced with complaints for the vague pricing for the past 3 days. If Yu Qingyan returned, she would definitely not be happy. Upon stepping out into the store area, he was greeted by the sight of Liu Xiaoyu bouncing excitedly near the counter. "Boss, look!" She pointed outside, and sure enough, there was already a line forming, waiting for the signage at the door to be flipped. Seeing that, Lin Mo couldn't help but give them a satisfied nod. How obedient! That'll be 120 low-grade or 12 intermediate-grade. Spirit stones. Lin Mo, with his usual business smile, rang up the customer's items. Thank you, shopkeeper. Your exchange is still baffling, but I'm glad your items have become cheaper. I can now buy more of these. The customer, who was a disciple from the Azure Gale sect, happily handed over the spirit stones as his eyes sparkled, lifting a box of spirit-infused potato chips that contained 24 60-gram packs. After the price adjustment, it went down from 2 the spirit stones, unspecified quality, to 5 low-grade spirit stones. Lin Mo tried to understand the reasoning for that price, but since he had no idea about the actual economic state of this region of the realm of 9 heavens, he gave up and asked the system for an explanation instead. Apparently, it was adjusted according to the data gathered from the past 3 days. The previous pricing was set roughly without considering the economic impact of the store's unique items, because the Divine Pantheon simply wanted to sell them and spread the name of the store. With the pavilion master raising the concern on the pricing, the need to regulate the prices is now adopted to the Divine System interface. The system's explanation made sense. However, Lin Mo had no idea if the Divine Pantheon's disinterest in their actual profit from the sold items changed. Initially, Tai Hao told him that he just needed to sell and spread the name of the store. He made a mental note to ask that when one of them showed up again. Aside from that, he couldn't help but feel a twinge of regret at the lost opportunity to rake in even more spirit stones from the earlier clueless customers. He also benefited from those after all. Now, the +1 spirit stone for customer satisfaction has also been adjusted. Instead of the fixed +1 spirit stone, he could only get at most a fourth of the value of the transaction. For example, the transaction just now. Customer satisfaction enhanced, +0.3 spirit stones. While that's not too bad, he will now have to goad his rich customers to buy more and ensure their satisfaction to get a fat bonus to his personal balance. Still, the adjusted prices seem to be drawing more customers, or at the very least, they were getting convinced to fork out more of their stashed spirit stones whenever they thought it was a fair price for the item they got their eyes on. That ultimately worked in the store's favor. As the Azure Gale sect disciple left with his prized box of spirit-infused potato chips, Liu Xiaoyu, who had nothing better to do again, returned to the counter, grinning from ear to ear. Boss, is that snack really that good? While there's the additional value of the spirit infusion, isn't it merely a potato? And yet he bought the whole box. Lin Mo chuckled while shaking his head. Why don't you try one for yourself? You'll know why they liked it. Oh, is it a favorite snack from your world too, boss? Okay, I decided. I'll taste every cheap snack our store is selling. It will be easier to coax more customers into buying them if I recommend them, because I can attest to their taste. Lin Mo raised an eyebrow, amused by her sudden enthusiasm. Sure, Xiaoyu, go ahead. But remember, you'll have to pay for what you eat. No freebies, even for my prodigious assistant. Boss, I'm doing this for the store. It's research, not indulgence. Liu Xiaoyu pouted, puffing her cheeks cutely while acting indignant. But her cuteness was useless against Lin Mo. With a teasing grin, he said, Research or not, you still have to pay. Consider it part of your contribution to the store's success. Liu Xiaoyu huffed in disappointment as she walked away. After grabbing a small bag of spirit-infused potato chips from the shelf, the young woman brought it to the counter and paid for it through her personal balance. Stingy boss! All right, I'll start with this one. Watch closely. I'll give you a detailed review that will convince every customer to buy them in bulk. Lin Mo silently chuckled, neither encouraging nor discouraging her, as he watched her tear, open the bag and pop a chip into her mouth. The moment the chip touched her tongue, her eyes widened and her ears twitched in delight. Liu Xiaoyu chewed slowly, savoring the flavor, before breaking into an exaggerated gasp. What is this? Boss! Seriously amazing. It's salty, crispy, and there's this subtle tingle of spiritual energy that makes it so refreshing. No wonder that guy just now looks like he just bought an ancient artifact. Lin Mo smirked while clicking his tongue. Told you. And that's just one flavor. There are more if you want to continue your research. Liu Xiaoyu's eyes sparkled mischievously as she stuffed another chip into her mouth. Oh, I will, boss. Just you wait. By the end of the day, I'll be the official snack connoisseur of the Divine Convenience Store. Lin Mo couldn't help but laugh at her antics, her boundless energy lifting the store's atmosphere. Watching her enjoy that snack was also making him curious. He's wondering how different its flavor will be compared to the ones from Earth. The spicy Tai Hao noodles have quite a distinct taste, but at least it's not unpalatable to his tongue. And he could guess why. It's because of the many artificial flavorings from modern Earth convenience store food. While Tai Hao or whoever's making them from the Divine Pantheon could imitate its packaging, they still had to come up with their own mix of seasonings. On top of that, they also added those special effects that were beneficial for the inhabitants of this world. The morning passed in a flurry of activity with a steady stream of customers coming and going. Some were new faces, while others were repeat visitors who had clearly been impressed by their previous purchases. Lin Mo noticed a trend. More disciples from the various sects all over the region have started showing up. The visit of the Crimson Veil sect, Azure Gale sect, and the Verdant Sky Pavilion had already spread far and wide, and thanks to his newly enhanced spirit perception, he noticed some sketchy observers from outside the store. They were watching the activity inside in rapt attention. Most likely they were part of some forces trying to gather information about the rumored store. Well, as long as they're causing trouble inside, it's fine, he said, before taking his attention back to the door and the upcoming new group of customers. A group of female disciples from the Crimson Veil sect entered. Their crimson robes are a striking contrast to the store's modern aesthetic. With excitement in their eyes, they immediately began browsing the shelves before arriving at the one where the beauty set Xiaoyu arranged was located. Upon spotting them, Liu Xiaoyu's eyes sparkled brilliantly as she stopped munching on her snack before darting toward them. Her sales pitch is already forming. Welcome, esteemed customers. May I interest you in our limited edition beauty set? Perfect for maintaining that radiant glow even after a grueling mission. Surprisingly, even Liu Xiaoyu was dumbfounded when all of them happily picked up the set without any follow-up questions. Intrigued, Lin Mo asked them when they arrived at the counter. Dear customers, are you buying these because of feedback from someone who purchased them yesterday? Oh, yes, shopkeeper. Yesterday, a group of our senior disciples went on a mission. They said the items they bought from the store became crucial to completing it flawlessly, particularly this comb. One of the female disciples answered as she raised the still-packed spirit tress comb. Upon hearing that, Lin Mo couldn't help but raise his brows, trying to wrap his head around it. How did the comb become crucial to their mission? Did they comb the hair of an evil witch, satisfying her with her revitalized hair? Lin Mo's curiosity got the better of him, and he leaned forward, his professional smile giving way to genuine intrigue. If I may ask, how exactly did the spirit tress comb play a crucial role in your senior disciple's mission? The female disciple chuckled nervously, glancing at her companions, who also seemed amused by the memory. It's a bit embarrassing, really. You see, they were tasked with recovering an artifact stolen by a group of bandits. During the battle, one of our senior sisters had the Innovative idea to use the comb not just for its intended purpose, but to enhance her agility. Lin Mo blinked. Enhance agility? With a comb? Another disciple chimed in, giggling. Yes, she thought. If it can enhance hair growth and vitality, maybe it can enhance other things too. So, in the heat of the moment, she ran the comb along her legs. And, well, it worked. She said she felt lighter and faster, like the comb had infused her with some kind of energy boost. Liu Xiaoyu, who had been listening intently, burst into laughter. Boss, I told you! Our products are versatile! Who knew a comb could double as a battle tool? Lin Mo pinched the bridge of his nose, trying to stifle his own laughter. I'm not sure that's how it's supposed to work, but I suppose I can't argue with the results. Did it survive the battle? The first disciple winced. Not exactly. The comb cracked after prolonged use. I see. Dear customers, are you also planning on using the product for unconventional purposes? Lin Mo finished, his tone laced with dry humor and a hint of displeasure as he eyed the enthusiastic disciples. Despite only being at this job for 3 days, he couldn't but scream internally, "Use the goddamn product as intended! They're made to be a comb for your hair, not an agility buff." But he had to hold it in. They paid for their items, after all. It's up to them how they would use it. If it breaks, then it's not the product's fault. The group of crimson-veiled disciples giggled, exchanging amused glances. One of them, clearly the spokesperson, waved her hand dismissively. Oh no, shopkeeper. We'll use it as intended. But if a situation arises where we need a creative solution, it's good to know it can handle more than just hair care. Hearing that, Lin Mo's internal turmoil calmed down as he chuckled. Great, as long as you're satisfied with your purchase. But I must remind you, dear customers, that the Spirit Tress Comb is primarily a beauty product. It is for lustrous hair. Any other effects you experience are purely coincidental and not guaranteed. It may be more wise to buy talismans with the enhanced agility effect or other artifacts with similar abilities. Spend responsibly. It'll be a shame if you end up wasting a valuable product because of a misunderstanding about its intended purpose. The disciples nodded, their amusement undiminished. The one in the lead leaned closer. How intriguing. A merchant telling his customers to spend wisely. Shopkeeper, we appreciate the thought. We'll keep it in mind. We'll definitely come back for talismans next time. But for now, this beauty set is all the rage in our sect. You might want to stock up. Lin Mo offered a polite smile as he rang up their purchases. Thank you for the suggestion, dear customer. Unfortunately, it will remain limited in stocks in the meantime. But if it becomes our best seller, I'm certain our supplier will send more stocks. The disciples nodded eagerly, their excitement undeterred as they handed over their payment. As they left the store, their laughter echoed down the street, leaving Lin Mo and Liu Xiaoyu shaking their heads in amusement. Boss, we might need to add a disclaimer to some of our products. Something like, not liable for unintended uses during life-or-death situations. Lin Mo smirked, pulling out a notepad to jot down her suggestion. Nah, they paid for their items. A disclaimer won't be needed. Let's just hope they're responsible. Customers. But if they're not, it's a win for us, no? They'll return and buy again. Oh, boss, I've been enlightened. You're more cunning than you appeared to be. You're still thinking of ripping everyone off. Liu Xiaoyu smirked as she dashed away to rearrange the nearly empty shelf of beauty products. The morning passed in a flurry of activity as more customers came and went. The adjusted pricing and the growing reputation of the store continued to draw in disciples from various sects, their curiosity piqued by the unique wares on display. As the clock ticked closer to midday, Lin Mo checked the system panel to track their progress. Daily tasks: attract new customers, 1220, sell expensive items worth 20 intermediate-grade spirit stones, and above, 55, repeat customers, 610. Not bad, Lin Mo muttered, nodding in satisfaction as he watched the near-completed daily tasks. Why did he think it would be difficult? Their growing list of customers would be able to draw in more customers. Just then, the door chimed again, and Lin Mo looked up to see a familiar face enter the store. It was Yu Qingyan, her elegant robes flowing as she stepped inside with her usual air of confidence. However, there was a faint edge of irritation in her expression as her gaze landed on Lin Mo. Unlike the previous times, she walked straight to the counter and slammed her palm down. "Shopkeeper, we need to talk." Lin Mo's professional smile didn't falter as he greeted her. "Miss Yu, welcome back. What brings you here today?" Yu Qingyan's eyebrows twitched at his lack of reaction, but she composed herself and crossed her arms together. "I heard about your price adjustments. Care to explain why I paid premium prices for items that are now significantly cheaper?" Ah, there it was. The dreaded complaint he had been expecting. "Miss Yu, I understand your frustration. The price adjustments were made after careful consideration and feedback from esteemed customers like yourself. However, I assure you that the quality of the items you purchased remains unmatched. The prices may have changed, but the value you received was no less than what was promised." Yu Qingyan narrowed her eyes, clearly unconvinced. "That's a very diplomatic answer, shopkeeper, but I can't help feeling like I was taken advantage of." Lin Mo straightened as he gestured to the wall next to him where the poster was pasted. "If that's the case, Miss Yu has every right to complain. Please refer to our customer hotline poster. You can voice your concerns directly to the Divine Convenience Store's customer support. They'll handle your case with the utmost priority." Yu Qingyan turned her head to the poster, her expression flickering between confusion and disbelief. "A hotline? What the hell is a customer hotline? What? A bizarre thing to make? Oh, it's a new initiative, dear golden patron," Lin Mo replied smoothly, maintaining his professional smile and observing Yu Qingyan's minute reactions. "It is designed to ensure all our customers feel heard and valued. Rest assured, any grievances will be addressed promptly by our esteemed customer support team." "You didn't answer me, shopkeeper. What is a hotline?" "Oh, I thought you'd be pretty knowledgeable about it, Miss Yu, but basically it's where you nag if you ever feel taken advantage of. As our first loyalty card holder, I guarantee you'll be satisfied with its service." Nag. Yu Qingyan's lips twitched. Annoyed at his almost sarcastic response, but because of the aura of harmony still permeating the store, she easily calmed down. "Fine. I'll try this hotline you're speaking of. But don't think you can shift the blame away, shopkeeper. I will demand a personal inquiry with you." Upon saying that, the woman stomped away and stood before the poster before mumbling to herself, her voice tinged with awe. "I've been in the merchant trade for decades, and yet I've never thought of the ingenious idea of addressing concerns in this way. How innovative." In one obscure region within the celestial realm, floating above the realm of 9 heavens, the heart of the divine pantheon bustled with activity. Streams of divine energy flowed through its halls as figures could be seen carrying reports, requests, and updates coming from somewhere. Within one of the grand chambers, a peculiar setup had been recently established. A gleaming array of golden communication artifacts, each one radiating a soft, harmonious glow. Standing before this curious setup was none other than Zhenren Lihua, the custodian of commerce and harmony. Her serene expression was occasionally broken by a small smile as she sifted through the latest report on the Divine Convenience Store that they recently opened. "Interesting. A golden patron emerged before someone pointed out the vague pricing of our products, and he says he has no experience in this field." Shortly after, a soft, melodious ringing echoed through the chamber, signaling an incoming call. Li Hua's lips curled into a faint smile as she turned to the functionary seated in front of the artifacts, signaling her to pick up the incoming call. This particular functionary was known as Yang Yang. She's a low-ranking servant of the Divine Pantheon who had just been assigned to become a hotline assistant. Her features were sharp and ethereal, her movements precise and efficient, but she possessed none of the radiant grandeur of the divine beings she served. Her work was in the subtle details. She was also a bit of a pushover. She glanced up and nodded respectfully at Genren Lihua before reaching for the golden communication artifact. She adjusted her spectacles as though she was preparing her psyche, before swallowing nervously, taking a moment to calm down as she accepted the incoming call. "Greetings, esteemed customer. This is the Divine Convenience Store customer support hotline. How may I assist you today?" With a steady tone, she greeted the customer behind the call with a subtle tremor of anticipation. She wasn't used to talking with people, or even divine beings for that matter. Before she was assigned here, she usually dealt with information, raw data, figures. That's her expertise. And now she has to act like some kind of a call operator for the store. There was a brief pause, followed by a composed but slightly annoyed voice. "Yes, I have a complaint regarding your recent price adjustments. My name is Yu Ching Yan, a golden patron of your establishment. I demand to know why the items I purchased yesterday are now significantly cheaper. Please confirm that the correct prices of these items have been applied to the recent purchases." Yang Yang blinked, her mind racing to find a suitable response. She had expected queries about malfunctions or missing items, not a direct challenge to the store's pricing policy. This mortal was remarkably bold. Before answering, she glanced at Genren Lihua again as though seeking confirmation. And the response she received was a subtle nod. This kind of complaint was what they were expecting. Sighing internally, Yang Yang put on a professional smile as she forced her voice to remain enthusiastic. At the same time, she pulled up the recent transaction made under the name of the customer, and she couldn't help but gawk at the numbers. 980 high-grade spirit stones. For a low-ranking servant like her, that was equivalent to several years of her salary from the divine pantheon. "Esteemed golden patron, I understand your concerns, and I sincerely apologize for any confusion or inconvenience caused. The recent price adjustments have been implemented to reflect the current economic conditions and the fair trade values within the realm of 9 heavens. We believe this ensures a transparent and consistent shopping experience for all our customers." Huh? What about the customers that purchased them before? Shouldn't you provide them with the same price? Does your policy only benefit newly visiting customers? Yu Qing Yan's sharp voice shot through. Yang Yang winced at it. The complainant's tone was as icy as the peaks in the highest mountain within the celestial realm. Looking back at the list of Yu Qing Yan's purchases, Yang Yang could understand why she was complaining right now. "I understand that Miss Yu is displeased, is it?" "Indeed. That's correct. You're also correct. It's my name. Who am I speaking to, by the way?" Yang Yang adjusted her glasses, her brow furrowing slightly as her mind struggled to find a suitable answer. My apologies, Miss Yu. Please understand that I'm merely a functionary, tasked with assisting valued customers like yourself. I was assigned to provide clarification and to address any concerns you may have. My name is unimportant." She then took a sip of her lukewarm tea as her fingers began inquiring through the recent data. "We, at the Divine Convenience Store, value our customers' experiences. After a concern was raised yesterday, the system that's assisting the store has calibrated the prices to create a balance for all of our customers, regardless of their time of purchase and wealth." "I see. And this explanation is it? What a waste of time. So basically, I'm still stuck with the expensive products I bought earlier and you won't be of any help to me?" Yang Yan hesitated as her face paled slightly. She could feel the pressure of the customer's intense scrutiny. It's too much for her. This was never part of her job. But Genren Lihua was observing. And the problem was, the customer had a point. Does she have permission to decide about the customer's compensation? She has no idea. If I may, dear esteemed customer, the loyalty card you've received will ensure that future purchases are made with more benefits than others, including having priority on limited products. Should we also provide a refund for your earlier purchase for the products that had their price decreased? As Yang Yang blurted that out, she could feel herself sweating slightly. It was too much. She could feel Zhenren Lihua's gaze behind her, and then the pressure coming from the complainant. She should have rejected the reassignment, but she thought this was a promotion, as she was going to work closely with a divine being. Alas, she was wrong. There was silence for a moment on the other end, and Yang Yang did her best to hold her breath. "A refund," Yu Qingyan said with a calculating tone. "Oh no. She's scheming something, isn't she?" Yang Yang inwardly thought as she tried to steel herself for what was to come next. Back at the Divine Convenience Store, Yu Qingyan stepped away from the poster as the glow of her communication artifact dimmed, her expression a mixture of satisfaction and reluctant admiration. Whoever came up with this hotline, they're either a genius or a madman, she muttered, recalling the stuttering voice from the other end. Lin Mo, overhearing her, couldn't help but smirk. "I'll take that as a compliment, Miss Yu. What do you think? Did they address your concerns to your satisfaction?" Yu Qingyan shot him a look before grinning. "You heard it, shopkeeper. I'm going to get a refund. At least half of what I spent yesterday. But don't think this absolves you, shopkeeper. You owe me one." Lin Mo chuckled, bowing slightly. "I wouldn't expect anything less from our esteemed golden patron, and on behalf of our store, I will personally apologize to you. Shall we set a date?" "Huh? Date? Wait. What are you talking about, shopkeeper?" "I mean, a meeting to personally apologize to you. The vague pricing might have been out of my hands, but I knew it was taking advantage of those pretty well-off like you. Not that. I mean, date? Don't tell me you're entertaining my grandmother's suggestion?" Yu Qingyan froze mid-sentence, her cheeks turning a faint shade of pink as realization dawned on her. She quickly composed herself, clearing her throat and crossing her arms in a show of defiance. "Shopkeeper, let me make one thing clear. I have no intention of indulging in such ridiculous suggestions. My only interest here is in your store's products and ensuring fair treatment as a golden patron." Lin Mo broke a non-professional smile, raising his hands in surrender. "Of course, Miss Yu. I believe you." Or so he said, but somehow he couldn't but find the reaction of this emissary of the Verdant Sky Pavilion adorable. After purchasing another box of instant noodles and soda, Lin Mo watched as Yu Qingyan elegantly walked out of the store with jovial steps as though she had been thoroughly satisfied by her trip. She completed her objective and more. A small, intrigued smile formed on Lin Mo's lips, as he couldn't help but think that their encounter this time was akin to him handling a tiger by its tail. Dangerous, but thrilling. He glanced at his assistant, who watched the entire debacle and saw her raising her thumb as though saying, "Way to go, boss!" Back in the celestial realm, inside the divine pantheon hotline chamber. Yang Yang slumped in her seat, her hands trembling slightly as she reached for her lukewarm tea. Her first encounter with the store's complainant had been far more taxing than she'd anticipated. Yu Qingyan's intimidating tone, coupled with her unrelenting demands, had left the functionary questioning her life choices. If she was given a chance to quit, she probably would in a heartbeat. Behind her, Zhenren Lihua's melodic giggles filled the chamber. The divine being approached the rattled functionary with a serene expression. "You handled that well, Yang Yang. Though I must admit, offering a refund was unexpected," Lihua said as she glanced at the glowing monitor in front of Yang Yang, showing Yu Qingyan's spending data. Yang Yang widened her eyes in panic as she turned to face the divine being. "Zhenren, did I overstep?" I wasn't sure what else to say, and the pressure was... Lihua raised a hand, silencing her gently. "Relax. Your decision was within reason. There was no other solution to placate that customer. The Divine Convenience Store is meant to adapt to the needs of its patrons. This is a learning experience for all involved, including us. Yang Yang exhaled a shaky breath, her nerves slightly soothed by Li Hua's reassurance. Thank you, Zhenren. But will it always be like this? I don't think I can always answer the complainant's demand. Li Hua chuckled softly, her gaze drifting. To the golden communication artifacts, do not worry. They may be curious, ambitious, and occasionally unreasonable. However, you just have to focus on the nature of their complaints and answer within reason. Isn't it fascinating to hear their upset tone softening up after satisfying their demand? The store exists to give them the convenience no one has offered yet. Watch over carefully, as this venture is going to be our Pantheon's foundation in that realm. Yang Yang blinked in confusion. She couldn't understand the meaning behind Zhenren Li Hua's words. But before Yang Yang could respond, the golden artifact began to glow and chime again, signaling an incoming call. The functionary groaned inwardly, her moment of reprieve cut short. Li Hua placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. Take this one at your pace. You're doing well. Yang Yang nodded hesitantly, adjusting her spectacles as she reached for the artifact. Her voice, though still shaky, was forced by her to settle down as she put on a professional smile before speaking. Greetings, esteemed customer. This is the Divine Convenience Store Customer Support Hotline. How may I assist you today? Yes, I have a question about the spirit-infused potato chips. Why do they only come in small bags? Couldn't the store offer larger sizes for bulk purchases? The voice on the other end was gruff and impatient, belonging to an elder from the Azure Gale sect who claimed to have recently bought the snack but found the serving size lacking. Yang Yang blinked, momentarily stunned by the unexpected nature of the query. She expected someone would complain about the adjustment in prices, but here he was, asking about a certain product. She glanced at Zhenren Li Hua, who waved her hand, which changed the display on the monitor in front of her, showing the data about the product in question. I see. Esteemed customer, your feedback is noted. The store's inventory is curated based on demand and supply dynamics. At the moment, it is the only size, but if demands rise, it is not impossible to create the same product with a bigger serving size. I will forward your suggestion to the appropriate department for consideration. The elder grumbled something unintelligible before hanging up, leaving Yang Yang to stare at the artifact in disbelief. Li Hua, who had been silently observing, laughed again, her melodic voice echoing through the chamber. See? Not all calls are as intense as your first. You'll grow accustomed to their quirks in time. Try reading about the store's products. You will need them. If ever you're curious about something, you can also inquire with the shopkeeper. Yang Yang sighed, slumping back in her chair. I hope so, Zhenren. Otherwise, I might need a hotline. For the hotline? The shopkeeper? What's special about him? Isn't he just a mortal brought by Zhenren Taihao to look after the store? Back at the Divine Convenience Store, Lin Mo leaned against the counter, his arms crossed as he watched the steady stream of customers browsing the shelves. The store had been bustling all morning, and the afternoon promised to be just as lively. Liu Xiaoyu skipped over to him, her cheeks puffed with a mouthful of some other snack. She's still in her ongoing taste testing of the store's snacks. Boss, guess what? I overheard one of the customers saying they're coming back tomorrow to bring their sect elders. Lin Mo raised an eyebrow, his professional demeanor slipping into a sly grin. Sect elders, huh? There's that one elder from the Azure Gale sect earlier who bought the chips. It's getting popular and the store's reputation is spreading faster than I thought? Liu Xiaoyu giggled, swallowing her snack. Maybe we should ask Taihao and Li Hua for more variety. Everyone's getting obsessed with them. I'll make a note, Lin Mo replied, his gaze drifting to the system panel. Daily tasks. Attract new customers. 1820. Sell expensive items worth 20. Intermediate grade spirit stones and above, 55, completed. Repeat customers, 910. The progress was promising, and Lin Mo couldn't help but feel a sense of accomplishment. The store was thriving, and with each passing day, he was becoming more adept at navigating the quirks of his role. Not only that, he started his journey in cultivation, and he could feel his head getting lighter, allowing him to think more clearly. There, should be a reseller by now, right? He thought as he recalled those who bought those cheap items in bulk. Yu Qingyan was one thing, but she wouldn't deal with reselling products, if anything. She's probably handing out those items she bought, intriguing more potential customers. In a way, she's becoming one of the greatest propagators of the stores. Influence. As he flipped the system panel away, the door chimed, signaling another customer's arrival. Lin Mo straightened, his professional smile returning as he prepared to greet them. "Welcome to the Divine Convenience Store. How may I assist? You today?" In the inner training grounds of the Azure Gale sect, Yan Chen stood at the edge of a tranquil courtyard, observing the group of disciples sparring under the dappled sunlight, filtering through the towering bamboo. Their movements were crisp, and their mastery of the Azure Gale steps was evident in their speed and agility. Yet his attention was fixed on one figure standing apart from the others. The disciple in question, Fan Hui, was a promising talent in the sect. Though not the strongest, his meticulous approach to cultivation and steady temperament made him an ideal candidate for Yan Chen's current task. In his hand, Yan Chen held the blossoming lotus breathing technique. It's the manual he had purchased from the Divine Convenience Store. While he could already attest to its authenticity, it still needed to be verified by having someone practice it. It was a breathing technique that could go hand in hand with their Azure Gale steps. If it was proven to be more beneficial compared to their current foundational cultivation technique, it could elevate the strength of their sect. He had already given the manual to Yan Wei, as ordered by the sect master. He memorized it right away the moment he realized it was the technique that his second uncle had bought from that store. However, the result would still have to wait, as it wasn't easy to switch foundational cultivation techniques, especially for someone like Yan Wei who was approaching the foundation establishment stage. Fan Hui, on the other hand, could still smoothly switch it out because of his lower cultivation of the spirit gathering stage. "Fan Hui!" Yan Chen called out, his voice echoing through the inner training hall. The young disciple immediately ceased his practice and approached, bowing respectfully. "High Elder, this disciple greets you." Yan Chen nodded at his gesture before, handing him the manual. "This is the blossoming lotus breathing technique. Study it and practice it as your new breathing technique. It is said to balance the body and spirit, enhancing both cultivation speed and overall harmony of your body. I want you to study and practice it. Report any noticeable changes in your cultivation." Fan Hui accepted the manual with reverence, his eyes flickering with curiosity. "I will not disappoint, High Elder." Yan Chen nodded. "I'll give you 3 days. If you encounter a problem, look for me right away. Do not rush the process. Focus on understanding the technique's essence." Fan Hui bowed deeply, clutching the blossoming lotus breathing technique manual with both hands. His eyes gleamed with determination, though a trace of apprehension lingered in his expression. "Thank you for entrusting me with this, High Elder. I will do my best to meet your expectations," he said earnestly. With his hands clasped behind his back, Yan Chen pleasantly nodded before handing him a pouch. "Good. Here are spirit stones and spirit replenishing pills to assist you. Don't use them sparingly. If your result is beyond satisfactory, the sect will reward you with more resources." As he accepted the pouch, excitement filled his chest. Bowing his head further, Fan Hui's grip on the manual tightened slightly. "I understand, High Elder. I will give it my utmost focus." As Fan Hui turned to leave, Yan Chen's gaze lingered on him for a moment. The High Elder's expression remained calm, but his thoughts were turbulent. This was not just a test of the technique. It was a test of the store's authenticity. If the blossoming lotus breathing technique yielded significant results, It would affirm the Divine Convenience Store's value to the sect. Even if the store couldn't be bought, its products alone could. Provide the Azure Gale sect with another avenue to bolster its current strength. In the middle of Fanling City, the City Lord Palace could be seen as an imposing structure standing higher than most establishments around it. Within the palace's inner chambers, City Lord Wei Xian sat in quiet contemplation, his fingers tapping rhythmically on the armrest of his intricately carved chair. He's a man with an imposing figure, but his graying hair and weathered face reflected the years of his leadership and experience. He had been appointed as the city lord for 10 years, and his influence within the whole city had been solidified when he led the defense of the city against the monster wave from the abyssal forest in his first year of tenure. At the moment, he was listening to his trusted aide, Zhou Liang, as he reported about this peculiar store that sprouted from an obscure side of the city. Zhou Liang, a middle-aged man with a lean build and a meticulous demeanor, stood before the city lord with a scroll in hand. "My lord, this so-called Divine Convenience Store continues to draw attention. As of now, disciples from several prominent sects have been seen entering and leaving the establishment, all of them carrying peculiar items outside. Yesterday, a confrontation had been cited between the Crimson Veil sect and Azure Gale sect, but instead of an explosive conflict, they were reported to have been coaxed into switching their form of competition to whoever can spend the most within the store." Hearing that, Wei Xian's brows furrowed as his fingers paused mid-tap. "The Divine Convenience Store. It seems to be more than just a merchant's venture. What of the items they sell? Have our people learned anything of their nature?" Zhou Liang nodded, unrolling the scroll to reveal detailed accounts. "Yes, my lord. The items range from common-looking snacks to high-grade artifacts and cultivation manuals. The most intriguing aspect is their pricing. Initially, the prices were exorbitant, but they've recently been adjusted to reflect a more balanced market value. By recently, I mean today." Wei Xian leaned forward, his interest piqued. "Adjusted pricing? That implies the store is responsive to its customers' feedback. Unusual for a merchant. What else have you uncovered?" "The store appears to operate under strict neutrality," Zhou Liang continued. "It welcomes all sects and factions without bias. However, it is protected by a unique aura that discourages conflict within its premises. Additionally, there are rumors of some kind of hotline for customer complaints. A concept unfamiliar to this realm." Wei Xian's lips twitched in amusement. "A hotline? What the hell is that? And what of the shopkeeper and the divine beings?" Zhou Liang hesitated, his expression thoughtful. "The shopkeeper is said to be initially immortal. However, he seems to have started cultivating yesterday, and yet eyewitnesses reported that he already reached the 3rd level of the spirit gathering stage. On top of that, his demeanor and confidence never budged even against prominent cultivators, like the High Elder of the Azure Gale sect or the emissary of the Verdant Sky Pavilion. He interacts with cultivators of all levels without fear, and some reports suggest he possesses an unusual charm that disarms even the most hostile patrons." Wei Xian stroked his beard, his mind turning over the possibilities. "3rd level? Is he a prodigy? For someone as weak to be a shopkeeper managing a store of this caliber, it is certainly intriguing. What of the sects? How are they responding?" "The Crimson Veil sect, Azure Gale sect, and Verdant Sky Pavilion have all shown interest. Representatives from these sects have been seen frequenting the store, and there are whispers of plans to establish deeper connections with it." Upon hearing that, Wei Xian rose from his chair, his commanding presence filling the room. "That is preposterous. This cannot go on any longer, Zhou Liang. We have to pay a visit to it. If it truly offers what the rumors suggest, it could shift the balance of power in this region. We cannot afford to ignore it." "Indeed, my lord. Shall I arrange an official to make the visit?" "I will have to see it for myself. Something is nagging me to check it out at least once, or I will regret not doing so." He paused for a moment as though he was contemplating something. After that, he turned to Zhou Liang. Have the guards maintain order around the area. I will visit the Divine Convenience Store discreetly. Based on your investigation, it sprang up out of nowhere. We have to be cautious in approaching it. Zhou Liang bowed deeply. Understood, my lord. I will make the necessary arrangements. Shall I accompany you? Unnecessary. Zhou Liang, your presence here is essential. Keep an eye on the city while I'm away. If this store is as extraordinary as the rumors claim, we may need to adjust our policies to accommodate its influence. Whether its presence here will bring good or bad to our city, I will be the judge. Zhu Liang nodded with a resolute expression. As you command, my lord, please exercise caution. As the afternoon wore on, the bustling activity in the store had settled into a steady rhythm. Eventually, the daily tasks had been filled in with repeat customers bringing in their fellow disciples as new customers. Furthermore, curious citizens of the city had also started checking out the store. Unfortunately, most of them were mortals who didn't have any spirit stone in their possession. They produced gold coins that the system couldn't accept. Those coins were just pieces of useless metals minted as a form of currency for mortals after all. Spirit stones, on the other hand, contained spiritual energy and were the more common currency in the realm of 9 heavens. From what he heard from Xiao Yu, that currency was set by the current emperor of the mortal kingdom reigning within the region. Weirdly enough, royals and government officials are all cultivators, so setting that form of currency was nothing more than a way to separate mortals from cultivators. If a mortal has talent with cultivation, they'll either enter a sect or get recruited by the government or army and get nurtured by them. Nevertheless, it wasn't impossible for mortals to earn spirit stones. It's just difficult because oftentimes even cultivators will pay in gold coins in stores or inns run by a mortal. They can work on spirit stone mines, but those were heavily regulated and more often than not, too taxing of a job for a mortal. The Divine Pantheon is clearly not running a charity, however. Won't they miss out on influence if they discriminate against those who lack the means to earn spirit stones? Unless the Divine Pantheon doesn't care about them, Lin Mo mused as he whiled away his time, silently feeling. Lin Mo remained leaning against the passive effect of his silent stream breathing technique as he waited for the customers inside the store to finish browsing. Suddenly, the system chimed as it seemingly accepted his thoughts as an inquiry. System inquiry. Serving mortals. Spirit stone is the common currency of the realm of 9 heavens. While mortals lack the means to cultivate or produce spirit stones, their inclusion in the Divine Convenience Store's target audience has been noted. The system can implement a barter system, allowing mortals to trade valuable resources, rare herbs, or other items of interest in exchange for store credit. This feature is currently under evaluation and will require shopkeeper approval to activate. My approval? This system is becoming more mysterious. Lin Mo blinked at the sudden notification. A barter system. That was an interesting proposition. He had seen how eager the mortal customers were to purchase the items in the store, but their lack of spirit stones always left them disappointed. Only a few could pick something and leave with it. Boss, you're spacing out again. Liu Xiaoyu's cheerful voice broke his thoughts as she appeared beside him, holding a small jar of what looked like a jar of honey. It's the spirit honey. Another product that Xiaoyu thought it was a snack. She's scooping it up with a spoon, and at each mouthful, a comically elated expression would show on her face. What's on your mind? Thinking of ways to squeeze more. Spirit stones out of the customers? Lin Mo smirked, shaking his head. Not this time, Xiaoyu. The system just suggested implementing a barter system for mortals. What do you think? Should we allow it? We won't earn that much from them, but at least they won't come in and leave empty-handed, right? Liu Xiaoyu tilted her head, her ears twitching thoughtfully. Huh. My stingy boss is concerned about the mortals? What did you eat during lunch? I thought you only knew how to squeeze out our rich patrons. Lin Mo's lips twitched and flicked her forehead. Oh, what was that for, boss? Am I wrong? Yes. Who are you calling stingy? And I've never thought of squeezing them dry. He paused mid-sentence, realizing that he was indeed squeezing them dry. If he could earn another high-grade spirit stone from Yu Qingyan by teasing her, he'd definitely do it. Seeing his reaction, Liu Xiaoyu burst out laughing. Pfft. See? Just accept it, boss. It's not a bad thing. You're just doing your job. All right. I won't argue anymore. But let's get back on topic. What do you think? Liu Xiaoyu meaningfully grinned as she scooped up another spoonful of honey before answering, a barter system could work. Mortals might not have spirit stones, but some of them might have rare herbs, minerals, or other valuable items. Just like that lady 2 days ago. Wasn't her herb accepted by the system? Plus, it would make the store feel more inclusive. No, like it's not just for cultivators. Lin Mo nodded, considering her words. You're right. I still feel the Divine Convenience Store doesn't really care too much about profits. All it needs is to spread its reputation. Mortals may be weak and poor, but they should make up 90% of the population in this world, right? Yes? Everyone is, born a mortal. Even if the child is an offspring of a cultivator. It could also help us build goodwill among the mortal population. Sure, the system can evaluate the value of what they're offering. Scamming this store by bartering useless things will be impossible. Upon saying that, the system chimed again, filling up the details of the barter system. Lin Mo couldn't help but wryly smile as read it. Somehow, he couldn't help but think that someone was operating the system behind the scenes, listening and observing them. Barter system features: automatic valuation. The system will assess the value of offered items based on their rarity, quality, and market demand. Exchange rates. Bartered items will be converted into store credit, usable for purchases within the store. Fraud prevention. Items deemed counterfeit or of insufficient value will be rejected. Pilot program. The barter system can be activated as a trial, allowing adjustments based on initial feedback. Impressive. If I am still on Earth, I'll probably think I just talked to an AI chatbot. The speed it answers is too quick, Lin Mo muttered, crossing his arms before turning to his quirky assistant. What do you think, Xiaoyu? Should we give it a shot? Absolutely. Boss, imagine the look on the mortals' faces when they realize they can finally buy something from here. Plus, it might bring in some interesting items we wouldn't normally get. All right, let's do it. System. Activate the barter system as a trial. Barter system activated. Trial phase 3 days. The system will be adjusted after the trial period. Notification. A new sign has been added near the entrance, informing customers about the barter system. Sure enough, a new sign materialized near the store's entrance. Written in elegant script, it read, "No spirit stones, no problem. Mortals can now trade valuable resources for store credit. Ask the shopkeeper for details." Lin Mo and Liu Xiaoyu checked it out and immediately made the young woman laugh while holding her stomach before patting Lin Mo on the back. "Boss, good job." This girl. Are you making fun of me? Of course not. I'm thoroughly impressed by my boss. Only you will come up with this kind of idea. Upon saying that, she dashed back inside the store, leaving behind her merry giggling. As the next group of customers entered, Lin Mo noticed a few mortals among them eyeing the sign with curiosity. One of them, a young man carrying a small pouch, hesitantly approached the counter. "Shopkeeper?" he began, his voice tinged with nervousness. "I saw the sign. Does it mean I can trade this for something?" He opened the pouch to reveal a handful of dried herbs, their faint aroma suggesting medicinal properties. Lin Mo glanced at the system interface, which immediately assessed the herbs. Herbs identified: low-grade healing herbs, common. Value: a bundle of 3 stalks is equivalent to 1 low-grade spirit stone. Lin Mo smiled at the young man. Yes, you can. These herbs are worth 1 low-grade spirit stone per 3 stalks. Looking at how many you have, that's enough to buy a small snack or the cheapest pills we have in stock. What would you like? The young man's eyes widened in disbelief. Really? I can actually buy something? Liu Xiaoyu noticed it bounded over again. Her energy was still seamless. Yup. Go ahead and browse. I'll help you pick something. As the young man eagerly explored the shelves, Lin Mo couldn't help but shake his head. The barter system might be a bit of extra work, but it was already proving its worth. Maybe this will work out after all, he muttered to himself, watching as the mortal customers began to approach the counter with newfound hope. Not long after, the door chimed as a new customer entered the store. It was a man with an imposing aura around him. Just looking at him reminded Lin Mo of those brawny generals from the Warring States era. He's not like the usual cultivators who were wearing their sect robes instead. He's decked in full armor as though he was charging into a battlefield. Who is this new customer? Lin Mo wondered as the man stepped further into the store, his gaze clearly taking in the modern interior of the store. The armored man strode into the store, his boots clicking against the polished floor with a weight, echoing authority. His broad-shouldered frame was accentuated by the black and silver armor he wore, radiating a faint spiritual energy. His presence immediately drew attention, and even Liu Xiaoyu, who was always excited to welcome a new customer, paused mid-step to glance at him. Lin Mo straightened his back, his professional smile sliding into place as he observed this new customer. Although he didn't recognize him right away because of his bigger frame, Lin Mo recalled him as another figure to watch out for. His earlier assessment was correct. This man wasn't just a warrior. He exuded an air of leadership, someone accustomed to giving orders and having them followed without question. Upon taking a few steps inside, the man stopped, his sharp eyes scanning the shelves and the products displayed on them. His eyebrows furrowed and shook as he was clearly intrigued by what he was seeing. But ultimately, he frowned, dissatisfaction forming on his face. After a moment, he turned and approached the counter, his eyes naturally locking on Lin Mo. He instantly felt the pressure from this new customer's gaze. It was heavy and suffocating. However, it didn't feel hostile, most likely thanks to the aura of harmony. "Shopkeeper," the man started. His voice was expectedly deep and grating. "Do you know who I am?" Lin Mo's smile didn't falter, though inwardly he was clicking his tongue. He could tell that he was demanding recognition and perhaps a show of respect. "City Lord Wei," Lin Mo greeted, inclining his head slightly. Not much as a bow, but enough to show that respect. "Welcome to the Divine Convenience Store. How may I help you? Please feel free to browse. We have a lot of wares that may cater to your needs." Wei Xian's lips curved up in a faint smile, his sharp eyes narrowing slightly as he studied Lin Mo. He recalled Zhou Liang's report about the shopkeeper. He indeed looked ordinary, yet he had this unshakable form as if he was unafraid of someone stronger than him. Is he that confident to be protected by the divine being behind him? The city lord mused. "You know who I am, yet you don't seem the least bit intimidated." Interesting. Lin Mo maintained his professional smile, his tone as calm as ever. "We treat all our customers equally here, City Lord. Whether they're mortals, sect leaders, or city officials, everyone is welcome to browse and shop at their leisure." Wei Xian scoffed. "Equal treatment, is it? You opened a store in this obscure spot in my city. Have you asked for permission?" Lin Mo's professional smile didn't waver, but his thoughts raced as he carefully crafted his response. "City Lord Wei, your concern is valid. However, the Divine Convenience Store operates under unique circumstances. While we didn't explicitly seek your permission, I assure you our presence here brings no harm to your city. Quite the opposite. In fact," Wei Xian crossed his arms, his imposing figure casting a long shadow over the counter. "No harm, you say? My city is abuzz with talk of your store. Sect disciples started coming and going, disrupting the traffic of our city gates, casting doubts and fears on my citizens. He leaned forward slightly, his sharp gaze locking onto Lin Mo. Tell me, shopkeeper, what exactly is the aim of this store? A divine being backs you, and I can sense that something is interfering with my impulse inside here, preventing me from getting too worked up. It's strange. Will you be responsible if those cultivators wreaked havoc over disagreements outside your store? Lin Mo chuckled lightly, maintaining his calm demeanor and ignoring most of the questions. He had no idea how to answer him after all. Those were concerns that had to be addressed one by one. It's not something he, as a mere shopkeeper, brought from another world could easily solve. The store's aim is simple, City Lord: convenience. We provide quality goods to anyone who walks through our doors, be they mortals or cultivators. As you may have noticed, we also offered the barter system for the less fortunate. It is an extension of that goal. After all, shouldn't everyone have access to convenience? Convenience, you say? And yet, you seem to be running the most inconvenient operation for those who can't afford your prices. Lin Mo wryly smiled. What is he getting out? What's inconvenient about it? City Lord, inconvenience is not welcome in our store. Mortals may be different from cultivators, but do they also have to be discriminated against by creating a new set of currency for them? We're adapting, just as your city has adapted to the presence of this store. Surely you can appreciate the value of innovation. Wei Xian's eyes narrowed, his expression unreadable. After a moment, he let out a low chuckle, the sound reverberating through the store. You're clever, shopkeeper. I'll give you that. But cleverness alone doesn't earn trust. Lin Mo inclined his head slightly. Trust is earned through action, City Lord. I invite you to explore our wares and see for yourself the value we bring. Perhaps you'll find something that piques your interest. That's not what I'm concerned about, shopkeeper. It's the very presence of your store in my city. Soon, not only the surrounding sects and forces who show up to visit your city, conflicts may arise. Seeing as there's only you and that little assistant of yours here, you also lack the means to secure your surroundings. You do not expect we will provide you security, do we? Especially when you're merely an establishment that just sprouted out of nowhere. Lin Mo's smile didn't falter, though inwardly he sighed. The city lord's concerns were valid. The divine convenience store had indeed become a focal point of attention. Its growing influence is already disrupting the public security of Fanling City. Just yesterday, if conflict broke out between the Crimson Veil sect and Azure Gale sect disciples, the destruction they could cause would be devastating. The store wouldn't be able to extricate itself and avoid responsibility. After all, their conflict originated from the store. City Lord Wei, your concerns are understandable, and I appreciate your vigilance in maintaining order in your city. However, I assure you that the store's operations are self-contained. Outside, the actions of our patrons are beyond our direct control, but we encourage peaceful resolutions and fair trade. Wei Xian crossed his arms, his imposing figure still, radiating authority. Encouragement isn't enough, shopkeeper. When conflicts spill into the streets, it's my guards who must intervene, my people who are affected. What guarantee do I have that your store won't become a liability? Lin Mo's mind raced as he considered his response. He couldn't promise absolute control over the actions of others, but he needed to reassure the city lord, and that's when he thought of a solution. Maybe not perfect, but it would solve this city lord's concern. City Lord, if any of our store's patrons caused a disturbance in the streets after their visit, I will impose a ban on them from returning to the store. Not just the individual, but also the faction they belong to. That way, they can keep each other in check. I assure you, they will rather behave than lose the means of purchasing our products. Furthermore, while I cannot guarantee the actions of every patron, I can promise that the Divine Convenience Store will take steps to minimize any potential disruptions. If necessary, I can also request additional support from other store patrons to ensure the safety and harmony of the city. Upon hearing that, Wei Xian was more than intrigued, he was astonished. What Lin Mo was saying was that the store's influence on its patrons was already deeply rooted. They would listen to his requests, if it's true. How scary is this establishment? It has only been a few days. After asking a few more tamer questions, Wei Xian stopped probing. There was only so much he could squeeze from the shopkeeper. Nonetheless, he finally understood why there was an assessment that talked about the shopkeeper's peculiarity. Lin Mo had deftly handled his questions, offering solutions that were practical and even beneficial to the city. It was as if he already had a hand in leadership. It was difficult to gauge if he was simply audacious or exceptionally shrewd. Little did he know, Lin Mo was simply pulling up knowledge from his world. He might have lived as an ordinary salaryman, but he was quite a leader during his university days. But without connection and luck in landing a good company, he could only climb so little on the ladder of the corporate world. Comparing Earth to the realm of 9 heavens, the civilization here was still so backward that it was possible to apply the tried methods from his previous world. Shopkeeper, you've given me much to consider. Your proposal to manage your patrons' behavior through bans is quite bold, but it remains to be seen if it will work. I will be watching closely. If your influence falters and chaos ensues, be prepared to be held accountable. That is fair, City Lord. Rest assured, the Divine Convenience Store values stability as much as you do. We will do our part to ensure Fanling City remains harmonious. Seeing Lin Mo remained unwavering, Wei Xian's sharp eyes softened just enough to reveal a glimmer of satisfaction. You've made an impression, shopkeeper. I'll reserve judgment for now. So, do you have anything here that suits me? Lin Mo's smile brightened as he gestured toward a nearby shelf filled with premium products. This was another big fish to catch. If this city lord became satisfied, he might as well advertise not just to his citizens, but also to the entire kingdom they belong to. Maybe in the future the store can be expanded enough to open another branch in a different location. But that's still too early to think about. The business is still nothing more than a fledgling. Certainly, City Lord. As I've said, we offer convenience first and foremost. Rather than my suggestion, I believe it will be better if you browse our products yourself, just like the other customers. Wei Xian raised his brows as he followed Lin Mo's arm. He stepped away and began walking towards the shelves, his curiosity growing as his eyes captured the array of peculiar items neatly arranged on their shelves, and then looked at the other customers excitedly browsing. With that, he turned and began to browse the shelves, his imposing figure drawing the attention of the other customers. Liu Xiaoyu, who had been peeking from behind a shelf, whispered to Lin Mo, "Boss, isn't the city Lord suspicious? Won't he ask you to pay taxes?" Lin Mo smirked, leaning slightly toward her. "Relax, Xiaoyu. I believe he heard about this place being backed by a divine being. He went here to check that out. If he wanted to tax them, he would have brought it up from the start. Maybe he'd think of a way to do it later, but for now he's nothing more than a curious customer." Liu Xiaoyu looked at his boss in a new light and thought, is he always this intelligent? Meanwhile, Wei Xian swept over the shelves as his feet brought him near them. His gaze lingered on the snacks and beauty products with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. Finally, he stopped in front of a shelf displaying the spicy Taihao noodles. Picking up a box, he turned it over in his hands, examining it closely. "Shopkeeper," he called, his voice carrying across the store. "This spicy Taihao noodles. What exactly makes it worth 3 low-grade spirit stones?" Lin Mo's ears perked up. Will he be another customer hooked by the instant noodles? He stepped out from behind the counter and answered, "City Lord Wei, the spicy Taihao noodles is an easy-to-prepare special meal Not to mention its taste is savory enough to hook the emissary of the verdant sky pavilion. Wei Xian raised an eyebrow, clearly unimpressed. Huh? How can someone as sophisticated as that woman get hooked on something as simple as this? Sounds like an exaggeration. Lin Mo's inwardly grinned. Go on, doubt it. But even if you're the city lord, you're still someone who hasn't tasted the modern artificial flavoring yet. He had already confirmed it through Xiaoyu. The food in this realm was often lacking in flavor. Only those who can afford to hire someone who walks the Tao of cooking can taste a savory meal. But even then, Liu Xiaoyu attested that even the rice balls we were eating during their meals tasted better than spirit grains. City Lord, perhaps you'd like to try a sample? I'm confident the noodles will speak for themselves. Wei Xian's eyes narrowed, and for a moment Lin Mo wondered if he'd overstepped. But then the city lord chuckled. All right, let's see if these noodles are as extraordinary as you claim. Liu Xiaoyu, who had been eavesdropping, immediately sprang into action, darting to the noodle section and grabbing a single pack. I'll prepare it for you, City Lord. Just give me a moment. Wei Xian watched her go, his expression softening slightly. Your assistant is enthusiastic. She's the heart of this store, Lin Mo replied with a grin, and quite the connoisseur when it comes to snacks. Minutes later, Liu Xiaoyu returned with a steaming bowl of noodles, the rich aroma wafting through the store. She placed it on the counter with a flourish, beaming proudly. Here you go, City Lord, the spicy Taihao noodles ready to impress. Wei Xian eyed the bowl skeptically before picking up the chopsticks and taking a cautious bite. The moment the noodles touched his tongue, his eyes widened slightly. The flavor was bold and complex, a perfect balance of heat and umami. As he swallowed, he felt a faint surge of energy, a subtle but undeniable boost to his vitality. Wei Xian set the chopsticks down, his expression carefully neutral as he regarded the bowl. For a moment, Lin Mo thought he might dismiss it entirely. But then the city lord reached for the chopsticks again, taking another larger bite. How is this possible? This rich flavor is compressed from that small packet? Wei Xian admitted, his tone grudgingly appreciative. And there's a hint of spiritual energy infused into the broth. Lin Mo's professional smile broadened, but inwardly, he was celebrating. Another convert to the power of instant noodles. I'm glad it meets your approval, City Lord. It's a popular item for a reason. Convenient, delicious, and with a touch of spiritual enhancement. Perfect for cultivators on the go. Wei Xian nodded, setting the bowl down with a faint smile, looking like a tamed bear. Indeed, its price is justified. But what about your other items? I heard you adjusted your prices recently. Isn't it due to selling your products at an expensive rate? Regarding that, City Lord, it is because we're still testing the waters from the past few days. If you wish to know more, please refer to the hotline. Someone will patiently explain it to you. Upon saying that, he pointed to the poster, and once again, the imposing figure of the city lord bounded over there, his face switching between different expressions. Lin Mo and Liu Xiaoyu watched him from the side, whispering to themselves, Boss, you found a great use of that hotline, but I'm curious. Who's behind it? I don't know. I haven't tried checking yet, but whoever they are, I'll give them a thumbs up. They're extremely helpful. You know what? I should have referred him to the hotline from the start. In the end, even someone like a city lord is nothing but a customer to us. Lin Mo shook his head before ringing up the next customer. Sometime later, Wei Xian returned to the city lord palace from his trip to the divine convenience store. He went straight to his private study, the bag of items from the divine convenience store clutched in his hand. It was filled with a variety of items, from snacks to drinks, card talismans, candy-flavored pills, and lost manuals. In just one trip, he spent almost 50 high-grade spirit stones. As a baron of the southern Wu kingdom, that amount still stung for him. He realized too late that he had fallen too deep into the sales pitch of the pair of shopkeeper and his assistant, and as it would be shameful to return the items, he gritted his teeth and returned with a heartache, placing the bag on his desk. He sat down before reaching inside and pulling out one of the items that he bought. What kind of material did they use for this packaging to be this glossy? Lifting it close to his face, Wei Xian inspected the product properly. He even sniffed it, but smelled nothing. Then he flipped it, checking the image printed on the front. Potato chips. That little assistant said this is a snack and another bestseller like the noodles. It's doubtful. It's merely potatoes cut in thin strips and fried, isn't it? With his curiosity peaking, Wei Xian opened the spirit-infused potato chips. The city lord narrowed his eyes as he peeked inside, seeing the contents. He reached in and popped one chip into his mouth. With the loud crunch echoing within his study, the crisp texture and the savory flavoring burst out, making him pause. Not to mention, the slight tingle of spiritual energy coursing through him added an unexpected layer to the experience. Wei Xian blinked, stunned. This, just from a piece of potato, chewing slowly to savor the taste. The combination of salt, spices, and the faint vitality boost from the spiritual energy was undeniably addictive. Without realizing it, he reached for another chip and then another. Within minutes, half the bag was gone. Wei Xian leaned back in his chair, staring at the open bag as if it were a puzzle he couldn't solve. How can something so simple be this captivating? This is preposterous! I must get more! Upon realizing what he just shouted, the hulking figure of the city lord shrunk. He looked around him, making sure no one was around to see him. When he confirmed that he was alone, he faked a cough, trying to calm his emotions down as the slight tint of red on his cheeks faded. He placed the bag on his desk, rubbing his temples. His earlier skepticism about the divine convenience store was slowly eroding. The products, while unconventional, delivered results. More importantly, they offered something unique that even his position as city lord didn't often afford him: a sense of novelty and convenience. Wei Xian reached inside the bag again, this time pulling out one of the card talismans he'd purchased. It was sleek, with glowing runes etched across its surface, and had a faint spiritual hum emanating from it. According to the shopkeeper, it wasn't any different from the normal talismans made and sold by talisman masters. It was simply made in a different material. The one he picked up was a set of single-use defensive barrier talismans. It varied in barrier strength, with the strongest one capable of withstanding a strike from a Foundation establishment cultivator. Wei Xian is a core formation cultivator, so it's pretty much useless to him, but it could be used by his subordinates. Holding it in his hand, Wei Xian once again inspected each item, trying to figure out how the peculiar store could produce such items and why it chose to appear in his city. Wei Xian leaned back in his chair, his mind already formulating plans. The changes brought by the divine convenience store could already be felt in not just Fanling City, but also in the sects that visited it. "Zhou Liang," he called, his voice echoing through the chamber. Moments later, his trusted aide appeared, bowing respectfully. "My lord, double the patrols around the store. Ensure its security without interfering with its operations. Also, send word to the other cities. I want them to know that Fanling City is home to a treasure unlike any other." "Zhou." Liang nodded, his expression serious. "Understood, my lord. I assume the trip is fruitful?" Wei Xian grinned as he pulled out a pack of spicy Taihao noodles and threw it to his aide. "Indeed. Here, try that out. Put it in a bowl and pour hot water. Wait for the noodles to soften before putting in the seasoning. You don't need to cook it. Tell me what you think of it after finishing the bowl." Before he knew it, Wei Xian articulated the same instruction that could be found at the back of the packaging. "Eh? As you command, my lord." Zhou Liang tilted his head in confusion as he caught it, but didn't question it too much as he bowed again, holding up the packet of instant noodles. As Zhou Liang left, Wei Xian turned his attention back to the items, on his desk, inspecting them one by one again. There's nothing to nitpick on this. How should I deal with it in the future? Should I just let it expand its influence or try to get a benefit out of them? Deep within the heart of the abyssal forest, a group of cultivators could be stumbling through the dense underbrush. Their robes, once pristine and bearing the insignia of the Lightning Amethyst sect, were now tattered and blood-stained. Senior. "Brother Shu," a young disciple gasped, clutching a deep gash on his side. His face was pale, his spiritual energy flickering weakly as he struggled to keep up. We can't go on like this. They're chasing us relentlessly." Senior brother Shu, a man with streaks of gray in his hair, turned sharply, his eyes blazing, despite his exhaustion. "Keep moving, Changren. If we stop, we die. Do you understand? We have to at least report what's going on in this place. Damn it! If only those fools from the poison demon cult didn't ambush us, we wouldn't be in this predicament. But that thing we saw, it would spell disaster to the surrounding area." Behind them, an eerie silence pressed down, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves. It was the kind of silence that amplified every sound, making even the snap of a twig feel like a thunderclap. Another disciple stumbled and fell to her knees. Her hands trembled as she reached for a talisman, but she couldn't produce a wick of spiritual energy anymore. "It's no use. Our talismans, they're useless against it." Elder Shu grabbed her arm, pulling her to her feet with surprising strength. "Yao Yao, focus. We're almost at the forest's edge. There's a city not far from here. We just need to—" Guttural growls cut through the air, freezing them in place. From the shadows, numerous pairs of glowing crimson eyes emerged as beasts stepped out of the underbrush. Their fur bristled with demonic energy, with their claws gleaming with an unnatural sharpness. Each of them focused on the three cultivators, eyeing them as their prey. Senior brother Shu tightened his grip on his sword. His jaw clenched as he used his body to block his two junior disciples. "You two, run as fast as you can. Seek help and relay information about what we saw. There should be groups of cultivators from different sects patrolling this area of the abyssal forest." "Huh? What about you, senior brother?" Yao Yao cried, while Changren clenched his fists for his powerlessness. "I'll lure them away, so just go." Upon saying that, his spiritual energy burst out, pushing the two away. Consequently, the beasts in front of them backed away for a bit, clearly wary of the man's final struggle. The demonic energy flickering in their eyes surged, their growls growing louder as they prepared to pounce. The oppressive aura of the abyssal forest bore down on the group like a physical weight. Senior brother Shu raised his sword, the blade glowing faintly with an enhancement talisman wrapped on its hilt. "Go!" he roared, his voice filled with both desperation and resolve. Chang Ren hesitated, his feet rooted to the ground as his eyes darted between his senior brother and the approaching horde. Yao Yao grabbed his arm, her tear-streaked face a mask of determination. "Chang Ren, we have to go. He's buying us time," she pleaded, tugging at him with what little strength she had left. The younger disciple clenched his fists, his nails digging into his palms. "Senior brother, I swear we'll come back for you." Without waiting for a response, Yao Yao dragged Chang Ren away, the two stumbling through the dense foliage, their breaths ragged as they pushed their exhausted bodies to the limit. The roars gradually faded from their ears, and eventually the fatigue took a toll on them as they both stumbled, rolling to the ground. With their waning consciousness, Chang Ren and Yao Yao saw a group of cultivators donning crimson robes landing close to them. "Senior brother Zhou, are they dead?" "No, only exhausted. They came from that direction, right? They must be being chased. Prepare yourselves, all of you. Don't skimp out on using the items you bought from that store. I can attest to their effectiveness," Zhou Rui said as he lifted his saber. Let's ask these guys what happened later. This saber will finally be able to taste blood. And soon, I'll hunt every Frostfang serpent as payback from last time. The Crimson Veil sect disciples quickly sprang into action, their crimson robes fluttering as they formed a defensive formation around the unconscious duo. Joe Rui stood at the forefront, his celestial wind saber gleaming with a faint crimson hue as his spiritual energy coursed through it. "Stay sharp," Joe Rui commanded, his voice calm but firm. One of the junior disciples, a petite woman named Li Kaiji, nodded and pulled out a sleek card talisman from her spatial bag. The printed inscription on its surface pulsed faintly as she activated it, summoning a protective barrier around their group. "Whoa! I thought the talisman's effect would only cover me. These talismans are incredible, senior brother. This quality is several times better than what we can get from the sect," she said, her voice tinged with awe. "I told you so. Benefactor won't sell defective goods," Joe Rui replied, scanning the tree line. "Don't use it wastefully, but treat it as a lifeline." Soon, the oppressive silence ahead was shattered by a low, guttural growl. Demonic energy crackled in the air as another figure wearing the same robes as the unconscious cultivators emerged from the bushes. He was bloodied all over but stood upright, his sword trembling in his grip. It was Senior Brother Shu, his face pale but his eyes blazing with determination. He staggered toward the Crimson Veil sect disciples, his voice hoarse from exhaustion. "Beware. They're coming," he managed to choke out before collapsing to one knee, planting his sword into the ground to steady himself. Joe Rui frowned, stepping forward to support him. "Who's coming? What happened?" Shu gasped for breath, his words rushed and broken. "Demonic beasts, enhanced by something unnatural. We were ambushed. Poison demon cult. They must be behind all this. They're too strong." Before he could finish, a deafening roar erupted from the tree line, and the oppressive aura of demonic energy surged. Joe Rui's eyes sharpened as the first beast broke through the underbrush. A hulking creature with jagged horns and crimson eyes glowing with malice. Its claws raked the earth as it charged toward them. It's clearly not like the abyssal hounds. It looked more like an ogre, and demonic energy that could rival the aura of a Foundation establishment cultivator oozed out of it. "Form up!" Joe Rui barked, raising his saber. "Li Kaiji, reinforce the barrier. Everyone else prepare to engage." The disciples snapped into action, their movements precise and practiced. Li Kaiji channeled her spiritual energy into another talisman, adding another layer of protective barrier as the other disciples drew their weapons and readied themselves for battle. Senior Brother Shu, despite his injuries, forced himself to stand, his grip on his sword tightening. "Don't underestimate them. They're stronger than they look." Joe Rui smirked, his confidence unwavering. "Stronger, maybe, but we're prepared." He glanced at the other disciples, many of whom were armed with items purchased from the Divine Convenience Store. Enhanced weapons, offensive and defensive talismans, and even a few elixirs tucked away for emergencies. Meanwhile, in the Divine Convenience Store, the trickle of customers remained the same as the sun was about to set. Some repeat customers were thrilled at the reduced pricing. They ended up spending more spirit stones than their previous purchases. They clearly thought they were getting a bargain. As for those who complained, the hotline handled them flawlessly. Lin Mo leaned back against his chair, feeling the passive flow of spiritual energy in his body while observing the enthusiastic customers as they leisurely picked items like they were shopping at a grocery store. In a way, the Divine Convenience Store could also be counted as one since there's no other establishment like it in the whole realm, but probably not for long. Copycats may spring up here and there once the reputation of the store spreads far and wide. By then, Lin Mo has to step up and be more competitive to crush any competition. However, with no control over the products getting sent to the store, that will be difficult. Loyalty cards are one thing, But the success of the store will ultimately hinge on the products we sell, he mused. Maybe I should start suggesting ideas to Tai Hao. The day had been long, but undeniably successful. The daily tasks were completed, and even the city lord had left with a bag full of purchases. No other VIPs arrived after him, though. But that's fine. It's only natural for them to not keep coming back when they already bought boatloads of items the day before. Lin Mo's thoughts soon drifted to the Crimson Veil sect and the other sects that were becoming regular patrons of the store. He couldn't help but wonder how the items they'd purchased were faring in the field. The story about that spirit tress comb made him slightly intrigued at what was happening outside the city. The talismans, enhanced weapons, and consumables were all designed to provide convenience and effectiveness, but the true test lay in their practical application. As if the system was reading his mind, it chimed softly as if it had eyes following those items. System notification, field test report available. Because of the customer feedback about the spirit tress comb, the store put trackers on some items to gauge the usefulness of the products. Sold. Report, Crimson Veil. Sect disciples have successfully utilized store products in a high-stakes encounter within the Abyssal Forest. Effectiveness rating, 94%. Detailed report accessible upon request. Lin Mo couldn't help but exclaim inwardly, "What the hell? A field test report? And trackers on some products? Isn't that an invasion of privacy? We'll be sued." However, despite shouting all that in his head, his curiosity was piqued. He accessed the report through the system interface, and a detailed summary appeared, outlining the products used, their effects, and the outcomes of the encounter. Liu Xiaoyu, who caught his expression changing, also bounded over as her eyes sparkled with mischief. Together, they read the report. Products utilized barrier. Talismans effectively blocked multiple demonic energy attacks, protecting the group from severe injuries. Celestial Wind Saber, enhanced, delivered a critical blow to a high-tier demonic beast, Nightmare. Ogre, significantly weakening its defenses. Spirit replenishing elixirs, restored spiritual energy to critical levels, allowing sustained combat performance. Offensive talismans, successfully neutralized smaller demonic beasts, abyssal hounds, creating opportunities for tactical advantage. Outcome. The Crimson Veil sect disciples successfully repelled the demonic beasts and rescued members of the Lightning Amethyst sect. No casualties were reported among the Crimson Veil group. Survivors from the Lightning Amethyst sect are en route to Fanling City with critical intelligence regarding the Abyssal Forest. B-Boss. Is this allowed? How can the store report something that happened at such a long distance away from it? See, even the usually chirpy assistant was flabbergasted. This wasn't ethical. Lin Mo screamed internally, but he couldn't say that out loud. Clearing. His throat, his mind instantly came up with an excuse. Xiaoyu, we're simply getting some feedback on how our products performed in the field. It's all data on what our customers will be purchasing on their next visits. Liu Xiaoyu narrowed her eyes at Lin Mo, her ears twitching skeptically. Boss, that sounds like something you just made up on the spot. Lin Mo coughed lightly, avoiding her gaze. Nonsense. It's a perfectly reasonable explanation. Think about it. If the store knows what's effective, we can ask Tai Hao to stock more of it. It's about improving customer satisfaction. If you say so, boss. Liu Xiaoyu crossed her arms, though the mischievous glint in her eyes suggested she wasn't entirely convinced. Back at the Divine Pantheon, Zhenren Lihua sat serenely on a floating jade platform within the celestial garden of tranquility. Streams of divine energy wove through the air like living threads yet invisible, their soft hums harmonizing with the faint rustle of ethereal flora in their surroundings. Across from her, Tai Hao, the divine old man who brought Lin Mo to the realm of 9 heavens, was stroking his long beard with a hint of amusement on his face. His casual demeanor was quite a contrast to Li Hua's composed elegance. A soft breeze ruffled his robes, yet his expression remained one of mild curiosity. "What do you find amusing, Tai Hao? Are you spending your days observing your little experiment in the realm below?" Li Hua asked. Tai Hao's eyes twinkled as his fingers idly twirled a strand of his long beard. "Li Hua, my dear, I don't need to observe every moment to know the store is causing ripples. That little shopkeeper of mine is resourceful. I've been busy with other matters, such as finding inspiration for new products and telling Chuang what to create next. I trust the system to handle things." Li Hua arched a delicate brow, her serene expression unchanging. "You truly are a hands-off overseer. Do you not worry that your so-called experiment might spiral out of control? We've received a lot of complaints, you know. I even had to prepare the customer hotline. The realm of 9 heavens is not as stable as it appears." Tai Hao chuckled, waving a hand dismissively. "Spiral out of control? Lin Mo is a mortal with a sharp wit, but he's not reckless. Besides, the system is designed to guide and protect the store. If anything goes awry, it'll handle it or notify us. Just like that customer hotline. There's no need for micromanagement. And yet, you brought a mortal from another realm to manage it. A bold choice, even for you. Are you not curious about how he's faring?" Tai Hao shrugged, a faint smile playing on his lips. "Curious? Perhaps, but I've given him my celestial providence. He'll manage. I've learned that letting things unfold naturally often yields the most interesting results. Lin Mo has the tools he needs. Whether he succeeds or stumbles, it's his journey to navigate." Li Hua's lips curved into a knowing smile. "You're testing him, then, seeing if a mortal can adapt to a divine undertaking?" "Testing, nurturing." "It's all the same," Tai Hao replied. "Besides, isn't it more entertaining this way? Mortals have a knack for surprising us, don't they?" Li Hua's laughter rang, out, light, and melodic. "You and your penchant for entertainment." A soft chime suddenly echoed, the sound emanating from a golden artifact hovering nearby. Tai Hao glanced at it, his grin returning. "See? The system's got it covered. If something's up, we'll know." The artifact pulsed with light, projecting a stream of data into the air. Tai Hao and Li Hua leaned closer, their expressions shifting from curiosity to intrigue as they read the report. System update. Divine Convenience Store. Daily tasks completed. 100% customer satisfaction rate. 94% major purchases. Verdant Sky Pavilion Emissary Yu Qingyan. Verdant. Sky Pavilion Master Yu Mingguo. Azure Gale Sect Disciple Yan Wei. White Ember Sect Master Lin Yuanji. Features activated. Barter system. Trial phase. Field test. Feedback. Products utilized effectively in high-stakes encounters. Overall effectiveness. Rating. 94%. Notable incidents. Increased sect activity in Fanling City. Potential for external conflicts identified but mitigated through proactive measures by the shopkeeper. Li Hua's brows knitted as she absorbed the information. A barter system? Field tests? It seems the store has been far more active than we anticipated. Tai Hao chuckled, pulling on his long beard thoughtfully. Looks like Lin Mo's been busy and creative. A barter system for mortals? He's trying to catch every customer there is. Indeed, Li Hua muttered under her breath before sighing. This report is promising, but it also highlights potential risks. Will you go down after closing time? None of us did yesterday. He must have been raring to ask us more questions. Tai Hao chuckled, the sound rich with amusement as he leaned back on the floating platform. "Oh, I'm certain Lin Mo has a mountain of questions. The mortal mind is ever curious, especially when thrust into something unknown. But, no, I think I'll let him stew a little longer. Keeps things interesting. Let's wait until the store reaches the next tier." Li Hua's serene gaze sharpened, a hint of disapproval flickering across her face. You're far too lax, Tai Hao. All you think about is amusement. This is the result of you discovering that realm. You came up with this idea. The Divine Convenience Store is meant to be a cornerstone of our influence in the realm of 9 heavens. If we lose control of its operations, the consequences could ripple far beyond Fanling City. Tai Hao waved a dismissive hand, his grin unyielding. Control is overrated, Li Hua. Trust in the system. Trust in Lin Mo. The young man is clever, and the system was designed with contingencies for every conceivable scenario. Besides, wasn't it your idea to add that hotline? You're also influenced by that realm, Li Hua sighed. The hotline was a necessity, not a whim. Without that, they'd be flooded with complaints there. We've already received numerous complaints and inquiries, and while most are mundane, some raise valid concerns. The major cultivation forces are becoming more entangled with the store. How? Do you think he will navigate the politics behind it? Tai Hao stroked his beard, his gaze drifting toward the ethereal sky above. How, you ask? Just watch. He's an outsider, unbound by the biases and politics of this realm. He sees things differently, acts differently. That's his strength. And his weakness, Li Hua countered. He's a mortal, Tai Hao. His perspective may be unique, but it's also limited. If he makes a mistake, it could cost us dearly. Mortal? No. Look again, he started his journey in cultivation. Huh. Wait. How is that possible? You reconstructed his mortal body, right? Did you open his meridians? Tai Hao chuckled, a glint of mischief in his eyes as he stroked his beard. Ah, Li Hua, you underestimate my foresight. Of course, I reconstructed his body, but I didn't open his meridians. That was his doing. Li Hua's serene composure faltered for a moment. You're saying he managed to open his meridians and start cultivating on his own? That's unusual, to say the least. Even for someone under your celestial providence. Indeed. That's why he's interesting. For now, let's sit back and watch from the sidelines. Oh, about the suggestions raised in the hotline, send the list to Chuang. He'll make it. After saying that, Tai Hao stood up and strode out of the garden. Left behind, Li Hua put a hand on her forehead, murmuring something to herself. As Zhou Rui led the Crimson Veil sect disciples back to Fanling City, the injured members of the Lightning Amethyst sect were carried carefully on stretchers fashioned from branches and reinforced with talismans. The trek was grueling, but Zhou Rui's mind was resolute. When deciding what to do with them and the intel they gathered, Zhou Rui, whose life was saved by the pills from the Divine Convenience Store, decided to bring them there first. He believed the healing pills or elixirs sold by the store would be more effective than looking for a healer. The Divine Convenience Store had proven itself in the abyssal forest. Its products had saved their lives and turned the tide against the nightmare ogre. Zhou Rui felt it was only right to introduce the Lightning Amethyst sect to the store's wonders, and of course, secure some compensation for their efforts. The condition Lin Mo set back them to spread the word about the store had already been taken by him as some kind of sacred duty. Furthermore, given how he easily cut through the nightmare ogre whose defense was akin to a Foundation establishment stage cultivator with the celestial wind saber, he's slowly becoming a fanatic. Anything produced by the store would always be heavenly for him. He wouldn't be standing here alive if not for it. "Senior brother Zhou," Li Kaiji called out, jogging up beside him. "Do you think the store will have something strong enough to heal them completely? Their injuries are severe." Zhou Rui glanced at the unconscious disciples, his expression firm. If the store's pills and elixirs can restore spiritual energy and cleanse poisons, I don't doubt it has something for injuries like these. Besides, it's not our responsibility to carry them all the way to their sect. Let them see for themselves what the store can offer. Li Kaiji hesitated, then nodded. You're right. They'll owe us a debt for saving them, and if they become regular patrons, it'll benefit the store. And us. Zhou Rui smirked. Exactly. If we play this right, the Lightning Amethyst sect will owe us more than just gratitude. They'll owe us alliances, and the store's influence will spread even further. Surprisingly, no one among the other disciples disagreed with that thought. They were all grinning widely as they too experienced how effective the products they bought from the store were. On top of that, they would be earning a lot of spirit stones from the materials and beast cores they looted from the carcasses of the demonic beasts. They're already hearing the clinking sound of spirit stones filling their spatial bag, and in turn, the fulfillment that they would feel from buying something from the store. Meanwhile, back at the Divine Convenience Store, as the day was about to end, Lin Mo and Liu Xiaoyu were perched on the stools behind the counter, munching on a new snack that the quirky assistant picked up, the bag of fire spirit popcorn. "Boss, this popcorn is amazing!" she exclaimed between bites. "It's crunchy, a right amount of salt, and has this little zing of spiritual energy. I bet it'll be a hit," Lin Mo chuckled. "How many have you tested since this morning? Are you sure your stomach will be fine?" "Around 10. Hey. Don't worry, boss. Cultivators like us can magically burn down the waste in our stomachs. You don't have to sit on a latrine like a mortal. Just use your spiritual energy. Of course, there are times when it's inevitable, for example, if you ate something poisonous." Hearing that, Lin Mo couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. That's a thing? He was wondering where he would do his business after 3 days, but it looks like he didn't need to anymore. Before he could respond, the door suddenly chimed, and a group of Crimson Veil sect disciples entered, carrying stretchers. Zhou Rui led the group, his celestial wind saber gleaming at his side. "Benefactor," Zhou Rui called out. "I'm sorry for visiting late, but we've returned from the Abyssal Forest with injured cultivators from the Lightning Amethyst sect. I think they need your store's healing pills and elixirs." Lin Mo raised an eyebrow, glancing at the unconscious disciples. Having read the report earlier, he was kinda expecting them to come, but not with patience like this. "You're bringing them here instead of to a healer? That's quite the endorsement for our products." Zhou Rui grinned. "Your store has proven itself time and time again. If anyone can help them, it's you." Lin Mo's professional smile returned as he approached the group. "Very well. Let's see what we can do." He called upon the system interface as he started questioning the Zhou Rui about their current state. He's not a doctor, and the system didn't have the ability to scan them. It relied on queries. Liu Xiaoyu jumped out from behind him and checked on them. Before long, she hopped back and told him her findings: severe spiritual energy depletion, internal injuries, and traces of demonic energy lingering in their meridians. No one was poisoned, but it's pretty much the same as the corruption brought forth by the demonic energy, the system chimed in response. Recommended products: Vitality Restoration Pill, high grade, 10 intermediate grade spirit stones, spirit. Cleansing Elixir, 15 intermediate grade spirit stones, golden renewal salve, external use, 5 intermediate grade spirit stones per jar. Everything listed were standard products from the realm. Lin Mo turned to Zhou Rui. Vitality Restoration Pill, Spirit Cleansing Elixir, Golden Renewal Salve. A combination of these items is optimal for their recovery. The total cost will be 90 intermediate-grade spirit stones. Zhou Rui's confident expression faltered slightly, but he quickly recovered. A fair price for their lives. We'll cover the cost for now, but the Lightning Amethyst sect will repay us. Consider this an investment in spreading the store's reputation. Lin Mo nodded, suppressing a smirk. Wise choice. Xiaoyu, prepare the items. Liu Xiaoyu saluted with an excited grin, grabbing the necessary pills, elixirs, and salves from the shelves. Within moments, she handed them over to Lin Mo, who rang up the items. Then Lin Mo handed them to Zhou Rui, who paid for them as he distributed them to his fellow disciples. As they administered the items to the injured cultivators, Lin Mo observed silently. Find exclusive stories on my virtual library Empire the Stores. Influence was growing rapidly, drawing in more sects and cultivators. But with that growth came increased scrutiny and potential conflicts. Zhou Rui finished applying the salve to one of the injured disciples, then stood and bowed slightly to Lin Mo. Benefactor, once again, your store has proven invaluable. I'll ensure the Lightning Amethyst sect learns of this. They'll owe you, and the Crimson Veil sect, a debt. Don't let them feel like we're forcing it on them. I'm already glad that their lives were saved. The Divine Convenience Store welcomes all who seek quality and convenience. Zhou Rui's lips curled into a satisfied smile. Indeed, we'll be back soon, Benefactor. And next time, we'll bring more customers to the store. Great. By the way, what happened out there? Lin asked. Even though he already read the report, there was one line right that intrigued him: the critical intelligence regarding the abyssal. Forrest Zhou Rui's expression darkened at Lin Mo's question, his earlier confidence giving way to a grim seriousness. He glanced back at the injured Lightning Amethyst sect disciples, his jaw tightening as he remembered the encounter. None of them might have been seriously injured, but it could easily turn into a dire situation if they made a mistake. Furthermore, he had an inkling that the ambush his group suffered back then might also have to do with what the Lightning Amethyst sect disciples suffered. Benefactor, what we encountered in the abyssal forest was abnormal. The demonic beasts there were acting erratically. They were enhanced, stronger, faster, and more aggressive. I suspect a corruption of some kind that amplified their demonic energy. I think someone is controlling them. Can the demonic beasts be controlled? I thought it was impossible to tame them, Lin Mo asked, putting a hand under his chin. Truthfully, he had no idea. After close to 4 days in this realm, the thought of demonic beasts was like a faraway concept for him. It's something he only heard from customers like Zhou Rui. He's secured within the walls of Fanling City and inside the store itself. The only thing he had to worry about was disruptive and troublesome customers. Thanks to the aura of harmony in place, that's also not a problem yet. Ordinarily, demonic beasts cannot be tamed. Their instincts are too wild, their nature too chaotic. However, certain methods can influence them. Dark techniques, forbidden rituals, or artifacts imbued with corruptive power. These methods don't tame them in the conventional sense, but bend their will to serve a master. It's a dangerous practice, and one that reeks of the poison demon cult. Poison demon cult? They're not exactly the friendly neighborhood alchemists, are they? Far from it, Benefactor. They're part of the evil faction, located on the other side of the abyssal forest. They're demonic cultivators, practitioners of dark arts who seek power through corruption and suffering. Our sect had a few encounters with them before, and they're horrible. Liu Xiaoyu, who had been listening intently, interjected with a rare note of seriousness in her usually playful tone. Boss, this sounds bad. If the poison demon cult is involved, we may have a situation at hand. They won't stop at just corrupting the demonic beasts. They'll spread their influence like a disease and attack the righteous and neutral factions on this side of the abyssal forest. They'll also target mortal cities like our Fanling City. Our booming business will be affected, Zhou Rui then added, as he pointed at one of the unconscious Lightning Amethyst sect disciples. Indeed, that's the situation, Benefactor. Xu Ming confirmed it. He and his team stumbled upon one of their hidden strongholds deep within the forest. According to him, the cultists were using forbidden techniques to further corrupt the demonic energy of the beasts. They got spotted on their way out and chased. From a group of 10, they're down to only 3 of them. If we weren't in the area, this intel would be lost with their deaths. That's troubling. Lin Mo let out a deep sigh as he finally understood how huge this incident could be. The cultists must have been preparing for this for months. Many groups of cultivators have been reported as not coming back from their missions for the past few weeks. Benefactor, do you remember the day I stumbled into this store? I was also with a group and I became the sole survivor. Zhou Rui paused for a moment, frowning as the memory of that day still haunts him. Xu Ming said, "There's not just Nightmare Ogre there. Stronger demonic beasts as well as other forces from their faction may also be involved. Lin Mo crossed his arms. At the moment, his knowledge of the area was still narrow. The abyssal forest was a danger zone, and Fanling City stood next to it. It would truly be a disaster if they attacked. Zhou Rui, what's your next move? Are you planning to report this to the authorities or your sect? Zhou Rui nodded. Both. The Crimson Veil sect will convene with the other major sects in the region to address this threat. But before that, we'll escort the Lightning Amethyst. Sect disciples back to their sect. They have first-hand knowledge of the situation, and their input will be crucial. Lin Mo tapped his chin thoughtfully. This was an opportunity for him to rake in more sales, right? But at the same time, he was a little guilty for thinking about it. Profit is profit, though, and he cannot miss the opportunity. All right. I'll send Zhao Yu to inform the city lord about this intel. Our store will probably not be able to help with this crisis, but if you need products that could help with scouting and defense, I suggest you stock up before heading back out. Read latest chapters at my virtual library empire. Zhou Rui's eyes lit up with determination. You're right, benefactor. We'll purchase what we need before we leave. The store has already proven its worth, and I trust its products more than anything else. Lin Mo nodded. Good. Take your time to browse. As Zhou Rui and his disciples began selecting additional items, Lin Mo turned to Liu Xiaoyu, his voice low. Xiaoyu, you heard me, right? Our store will be in peril if we get caught in this disaster. Go and inform the city lord. You know the way, right? Liu Xiaoyu nodded enthusiastically. Got it, boss. But what about you? Are you planning to do something about this? Hearing that, a rare seriousness overtook Lin Mo's usually calm demeanor. He's still calculating in his head, organizing his priorities. First and foremost, the Divine Convenience Store needs to spread its influence. If the surrounding forces succumb to the upcoming disaster, it'll have fewer customers. So what can he do? As an individual? Nothing. But as the manager of the store backed by the Divine Pantheon, he might be able to do something that would not benefit both sides. Not yet. For now, this is a problem for the sects and the city guards to handle. But if the poison demon cult's actions start affecting the store's operations, we'll just have to step in our own way. For example, offering discount sales or, just like what Xiao Yu did, bundle items that could be purchased as a set of weapons, armor, and talismans, perhaps. Then, slap a small discount on it, but he has to time it well. Otherwise, it'll be useless. After Xiao Yu departed to bring the intel to the city lord, Lin Mo stared at the glowing system interface. The threat posed by the poison demon cult was beyond anything he could handle directly. But the Divine Convenience Store wasn't just a passive observer. If leveraged correctly, it could play a pivotal role in the unfolding crisis and benefit from it. System. I know you're supposed to be this handy tool for managing the store, so can the store prepare specialized products or bundles tailored for the situation in the abyssal forest? Specifically, items for scouting, defense, and counteracting demonic energy? He wasn't disappointed. The system chimed softly, its response almost immediate. System inquiry. Bundles and packages. The system can create specialized bundles tailored to the needs of customers based on situational demands. After taking into account the current inventory, suggested bundles for the abyssal forest crisis have been created. Stay connected with my virtual library empire, Scout's Survival Kit, Midnight Clarity Pellet, Silent Step Talisman Bundle, Card Talisman Pack, Spirit Replenishing Candy Pack Price, 25, Intermediate Grade Spirit Stones, 10% discount, Combatants. Arsenal, Mortal Grade Spirit Weapon Card, Talisman Pack Vitality Restoration Pill, X3, Spirit Replenishing Candy Pack Price, 30, Intermediate Grade Spirit Stones, 15% discount, Purification Set, Spirit Cleansing, Elixir Demon Quelling, Talisman Bundle Golden, Renewal Salve, X2, price, 40 Intermediate Grade Spirit Stones, 10% discount, Emergency Bundle, Vitality Restoration, Kid Escape Talisman, Bundle Spirit Energy-Powered Rechargeable SOS Flare Spirit Replenishing Candy, pack price, 50 intermediate grade. Spirit Stones, 12% discount. System notice. These bundles will be available as limited-time offers starting tomorrow and will be highlighted in the store's featured section. Recommend announcing the bundles to key sect representatives and the city lord for maximum impact. He wasn't expecting a lot, but Lin Mo's lips curved into a satisfied smile as he read those bundles. The fact that it was truly discounted slightly would make it more appealing. On top of that, for increased sales purposes, there were items included in different bundles. Truly, an Earth-like marketing strategy. Wait, Joe Rui. You can hold off buying tonight. Our store will launch a special section tomorrow which will include bundles. Lin Mo's voice trailed off as Joe Rui, who was examining a set of talismans, turned to him with a raised eyebrow. Bundles? Joe Rui echoed, his curiosity piqued. Yes, tomorrow. Lin Mo continued, his professional smile unwavering. In response to the looming crisis, the Divine Convenience Store will introduce specialized bundles tailored to specific needs. These bundles will include items for scouting, combat, purification, and emergency situations. They'll also come with a slight discount compared to buying the items individually. Joe Rui's eyes lit up with interest, though he hesitated. Benefactor, these bundles sound promising, but we might not be able to return quickly because of our sect duties. Can we reserve them in advance? Lin Mo tapped his chin thoughtfully before nodding. I'll make an exception for you and your group. I won't be ignoring your contribution. Without the intel, will we be able to prepare like this? Joe Rui exchanged glances with his disciples, who murmured among themselves before nodding in agreement. Many thanks, Benefactor. We'll definitely purchase bundles when we return. Can we ask how much they will cost? 25 to 50 intermediate grade spirit stones. If you're going to buy all 5 bundles, the total amount will be 145 spirit stones. That expensive? I assure you, you won't feel like you've been cheated. Furthermore, as you will be given a role to play in the upcoming crisis, you don't need to purchase everything. Who knows? Your sect elder might even buy them for you. Lin Mo maintained his smirk as he confidently faced their skeptical gazes. All sects should be loaded with their own resources, but if they found the store products were more effective, they'd surely come running and buy before the stocks run out. Meanwhile, Liu Xiaoyu darted through the streets of Fanling City, her small figure weaving effortlessly from roof to roof as she utilized her heaven's reflex, making her like a quick shadow that even the moonlight couldn't catch. For the first time since the store opened, Lin Mo gave her a task other than assisting him in the store. And since it was also her first time leaving the store in a while, Liu Xiaoyu was feeling ecstatic. Boss actually trusted me with something important, she muttered to herself, a grin spreading across her face. But really, how serious will this be? Will this poison demon cult be able to force our family to come out of hiding? It has been more than 3 days. Mother must have been waiting for my report about Tai Hao. As she was lost in that thought, the towering silhouette of the city lord's palace gradually came into her view. City guards patrolled the perimeter with sharp and disciplined movements. Liu Xiaoyu slowed her pace, crouching low to avoid detection as she approached the main gates. She didn't intend to sneak in, as this was an official visit on behalf of the Divine Convenience Store. But old habits die hard, and her instinct to move unseen kicked in. With a nimble flip, the young woman landed softly and graciously near the gate, bypassing a group of patrolling guards. She straightened up her back and brushed off imaginary dust from her out-of-place convenience store-striped uniform. As the moonlight finally caught on her figure, the guards noticed her approach, their hands instinctively reaching for their weapons. "Halt! Who goes there?" one of them barked, wary but not hostile. Liu Xiaoyu raised her hands, her usual playful grin intact. "Relax, big guy. I'm from the Divine Convenience Store. I bring urgent news for the city lord." The mention of the store immediately caught the guards' attention. They exchanged glances before one of them stepped forward, The Divine Convenience Store? You mean the one that's been causing a stir lately? What does a dubious store have to do with the City Lord Palace? Are you certain your news is truly urgent? Of course, it is urgent. It came from our customers who brought in 3 seriously injured sect disciples. Just tell the City Lord this is related to the Abyssal Forest. The guard hesitated for a moment before nodding. Wait here. I'll inform the City Lord. All right, but don't take too long. Every second counts. Oh, and if you visit our store in the future, you'll find me there. I'm the assistant to the shopkeeper. I'll give you my personally curated recommendations. As the guard disappeared inside, Liu Xiaoyu leaned against the gate, humming softly to herself. She glanced up at the night sky, her mind drifting to the silly face of Lin Mo. I wonder how Boss is doing without me. He's probably panicking, she mused, giggling at the thought. Moments later, the gate creaked open, and the guard returned, gesturing for her to follow. The City Lord will see you now. Follow me. Inside the grand hall of the City Lord's palace, Wei Xian sat at the head of a long table, his expression sharp as he reviewed reports from his advisors. The room was filled with different voices discussing city matters. However, the atmosphere instantly shifted the moment Liu Xiaoyu entered. Her small figure, beautiful face, casual demeanor, and peculiar outfit stood out against the formality of the setting, drawing curious and skeptical looks from the gathered officials. Wei Xian's piercing gaze landed on her, his brow furrowing slightly. You're really that little assistant to the shopkeeper. Did you truly say you bring news taken from your customers? He asked, his deep voice cutting through the murmurs. That's right, City Lord. I'm Liu Xiaoyu, the shopkeeper's assistant. And it's not taken. It was handed over to us by our customers who brought seriously injured disciples from the Lightning Amethyst sect to be treated. This is related to the Abyssal Forest. Although Wei Xian had many questions about that statement, he let it go and gestured for her to continue. Liu Xiaoyu grinned and recounted everything Zhou Rui had shared, from the corrupted demonic beasts to the involvement of the poison demon cult. The way she exaggerated some of the parts made everyone in the hall look like they had taken a bitter pill considering the seriousness and the gravity of the situation. When she finished, the room fell silent. Wei Xian's expression darkened, his fingers drumming against the table as he processed the information. This aligns with the recent reports of missing cultivators and increased beast activity near the forest's edge, he muttered, more to himself than anyone else. Liu Xiaoyu, is it? Relay my thanks to the shopkeeper. Is that all, City Lord? Yes. What? Are you expecting a reward? Liu Xiaoyu shook her head before twirling around, her eyes scanning every official in the hall. Of course not. But allow me to advertise to everyone here. Please visit our store if you require something but can't find it in your local merchants. Our Divine Convenience Store offers one thing: convenience. With that, she bowed and exited gracefully, leaving everyone in awe and utter stupefaction. They looked at Wei Xian, sounding out his reaction to that advertisement. It is indeed a mystical store. You can all check it once. You won't regret it. Unbeknownst to him, he became an unintentional promoter of the store. Back at the Divine Convenience Store, Lin Mo stood behind the counter, organizing a stack of newly arrived inventory. The chime of the door signaled Liu Xiaoyu's return, and he glanced up to see her bounding in with her usual energy. "Boss, mission accomplished," she announced, striking a triumphant pose. Lin Mo chuckled. "Good job, Xiaoyu. How'd it go?" She recounted her meeting with the City Lord in vivid detail, embellishing her own heroics, or rather, her keen advertisement to the officials there just a little. When she finished, Lin Mo nodded, satisfied. "Well done. Sounds like we're going to have more customers coming from the city. Too bad I should have waited before sending you. You could have told them about bundles that will come live tomorrow." Liu Xiaoyu beamed. "Oh, bundles? Boss, did you get that idea from my Xing Xing Glimmer Products bundle?" "Maybe," Lin Mo smirked. As Liu Xiaoyu pouted dramatically, Lin Mo shook his head, a faint grin tugging at his lips. All right, all right, fine. You can take credit for the inspiration. Happy now? Her pout vanished instantly, replaced by a wide grin. Very. You should always listen to me, boss. I've got plenty more ideas where that came from. Well, if he told her that it's common in his world, she'd surely feel lost, so Lin Mo decided not to take away that glimmer of happiness from her. I'll consider it, Lin Mo replied with a chuckle, turning his attention back to the inventory. For now, we need to prepare for tomorrow. If the city lord takes the intel seriously, there's a chance the sects and city officials will mobilize. That means more potential customers and more chaos. Chaos means sales, Liu Xiaoyu quipped, and sales means spirit stones. Boss, do you think we should prepare a sign saying no fighting in the store just in case? Lin Mo raised an eyebrow. You think they dare cause trouble here with the aura of harmony in place? Probably not, she admitted, twirling a strand of her hair. But it doesn't hurt to remind them. Besides, it adds to the mystique. Like, ooh, this place has rules enforced by divine power. Lin Mo snorted. Fine, go ahead and make the sign. Just don't make it too flashy. You got it, boss. Liu Xiaoyu saluted enthusiastically as she darted away again. System notice. Day 4. Complete. Evaluation pending. Day 4. Evaluation outstanding. Sales summary. 158 transactions. Revenue. 2,321. Intermediate grade spirit stones. Rewards, plus 110. Spirit stones to personal balance for both shopkeeper and assistant. Tier progression, emerging store, 4853-1000. As the store hours came to an end, the system once again chimed softly, displaying its daily summary for Lin Mo and Liu Xiaoyu. Lin Mo's eyes scanned the numbers, a mix of satisfaction and mild surprise crossing his face. 2321 intermediate-grade spirit stones today despite the overhaul in prices. Not bad at all. Although technically lower in revenue than yesterday, it's great that the tier progression now counts the progress in intermediate-grade spirit stones. The bundles tomorrow might push us past the halfway mark to the next tier, or maybe into the next tier directly. Liu Xiaoyu peeked over his shoulder, her eyes sparkling at the personal reward. Ooh, 10 spirit stones for me. That's enough to buy. More snacks! Lin Mo rolled his eyes. You're going to eat through your entire balance at this rate. As I promised earlier, go and pick your Xing Xing product. I'll pay for it. You can get the set if you want, Xiaoyu. It became cheaper after all. You're the best, boss. Upon saying that, she disappeared to that shelf, but she returned right away with a sad face. Boss, it's impossible to take them. The store is currently closed. With a wry smile, he scratched his head. Right. Get it first thing tomorrow morning, then. I wonder, will they not come again to check on us? Oh, you mean Tai Hao and Li Hua? I have a lot of questions piled up in my head. But I guess since we've already been awarded with the daily task and bonus from sales, they won't visit tonight. Lin Mo sighed. Although his questions weren't anything complicated, the system would be unable to answer them. They were not related to store management, after all. Just wait a while, boss. Let's eat dinner first. What do you like me to? Prepare? Is there something new in our supply? Yes, sausage, egg, and bacon. They look delicious, boss. Lin Mo's lips twitched upon hearing that. Aren't they for breakfast? But he couldn't deny it. He's missing the taste of them as well. The rice ball from yesterday sated his craving for rice, and now their choices for meals had been expanded. He couldn't dare complain anymore. Eventually, it would surely be filled with more products that he wouldn't worry about eating convenience store food only. He could use them to make some decent meals for both of them. As Liu Xiaoyu darted off to prepare their dinner inside their quarters, Lin Mo leaned back against the counter, letting out a long sigh. Your next read is at my virtual library empire. The day had been exhausting but productive. Between the influx of customers, the looming crisis in the abyssal forest, and the preparations for the new bundles, there had been little time to breathe. He glanced at the glowing system interface, his thoughts swirling with questions. The poison, demon cult's activities, the sect's potential response, and the store's influence. Everything felt like it was moving faster than he could fully process. But then again, he wasn't complaining. His life may have changed from the freak accident, but it was a lot better than the monotonous life he's leading on Earth. Like Tai Hao said, he was lucky to be picked. Just as he was about to close the interface, the soft chime of the store's entrance rang out. Lin Mo frowned, glancing at the clock. The store was officially closed, and Liu Xiaoyu had locked the doors. How come someone entered? Who could that be? He stood up and glanced at the newcomer. As the door swung open, it revealed a figure dressed in flowing celestial robes, her posture rigid and professional. Her dark hair was tied in a neat bun, and a pair of thin-rimmed glasses perched on her nose. Her expression was a mix of nervousness and determination. While Lin Mo was trying to guess her identity, the figure's eyes focused on him. It was Yang Yang, the functionary from the Divine Pantheon's customer hotline. "Greetings, shopkeeper Lin Mo," she said, her voice formal but tinged with unease. "I am Yang Yang, the functionary assigned to answer the customer hotline. I've been sent here to visit on behalf of Zhenren Taihao and Zhenren Lihua." Lin Mo blinked, momentarily taken aback. "You're the one answering them? Good job, I guess. So, the door opened for you. Why did you not teleport in like Taihao and Lihua?" Yang Yang nodded, adjusting her glasses. "Because I'm in my real body, shopkeeper. I can't send my spirit alone, or I will be swept away by the vestiges of chaos between here and the celestial realm." "That's a thing." Lin Mo's mind buzzed with questions as he processed Yang Yang's unexpected arrival. Her presence was different from the grandeur of Taihao and Lihua's manifestation in the realm. She looked like a diligent office worker who had somehow wandered into a mystical realm. "So, that means you're not a divine being like them." Yang Yang's lips twitched, a faint blush creeping up her cheeks as she adjusted her glasses again. From Lin Mo's eyes, she looked like someone who was easily flustered. Truly not like a divine being oozing with divine presence. "That's correct." "Shopkeeper? I'm not a divine being. I'm a celestial functionary, a mortal born in the celestial realm. I served the divine pantheon while I was still in the process of forging my divinity. My role is administrative, not combat or governance." "Think of me as an intermediary." "An intermediary, huh? So you're like a divine secretary or customer service representative?" Lin Mo's lips twitched into a faint smile as he leaned casually against the counter, his curiosity piqued. Yang Yang's face squinted and tried to avert her gaze, her professionalism momentarily faltering. I suppose you could describe it that way, though I prefer the term functionary. My role is to ensure smooth communication and address concerns. Zhenren Lihua thought it prudent to send me here to meet you, shopkeeper Lin." "Me?" Lin Mo raised an eyebrow, his interest in this stand-in growing. "I wonder what's so special to send someone else in their stead just to meet me. By the way, I have a question first." Go ahead." Yang Yang almost stuttered, but she did her best to recompose herself, her finger nudging the side of her glasses. With a straightened back, she met his eyes. "You said you're a mortal born in the celestial realm. That's a different place than the realm of 9 heavens, am I right?" Yes and no." Yang Yang paused for a moment, deliberating whether to give this kind of information to Lin Mo, but upon recalling Zhenren Lihua's reminder, she made her decision. Celestial realm is also known as the 3rd heaven. Meanwhile, this location of the divine convenience store is in the 1st heaven, the lowest of the 9 heavens, also known as the earthly realm. It is where mortals and cultivators vying for immortality reside. It's vast and diverse, filled with sects, kingdoms, and mortal cities. Lin Mo knitted his brows as he processed her words. "So, the realm of 9 heavens isn't just a fancy name? There are actual tiers of heavens?" The celestial realm is 2 heavens above where we are now. Does that mean that the sky is false? Yang Yang shook her head, adjusting her glasses. Wrong. Each heaven simply represents a higher plane. At the end of the day, all 9 heavens are part of the same realm. I suggest the shopkeeper not ask about this further. It will only confuse you, as it's something you'll naturally learn in the future. Lin Mo smirked, sensing that Yang Yang was carefully choosing her words. All right, I'll drop it for now. But it's truly enlightening to know there's more to this world. You see, in my previous world, everyone thought we were alone in the boundless universe. Or if there was a chance another planet held life, it would be light years away from us. It was impossible to meet with our current technology. That is also enlightening, shopkeeper. Your previous world must have been different from here. You can say that. So, what brings you here in person? Surely it's not just to chat about celestial geography. Yang Yang nodded, her expression shifting back to a professional demeanor. Correct. I've been sent to give you the report about the hotline calls I've received during the day and provide some answers to questions you may have about the Divine Convenience Store's operations, the system, or the challenges you're facing. Zhenren Lihua informed me to tell you they wouldn't be visiting until the store reached the next tier. Reports, huh? Lin Mo rubbed his chin thoughtfully. All right, let me hear about it. By the way, you can sit down here, Miss Functionary. Yang Yang hesitated for a moment before nodding politely and taking a seat on the stool near the counter. She adjusted her flowing celestial robes, her posture as rigidly professional as ever. Thank you, Shopkeeper Lin. Taking a deep breath to calm her nerves, she began. The report pertains to the hotline activity over the past day. There have been a total of 52 inquiries, complaints, and feedback submissions. The most common topics include product availability, pricing adjustments, and requests for specific items to be stocked. Lin Mo raised an eyebrow, impressed. 52? That's a lot for just one day. What kind of complaints are we talking about? Yang Yang adjusted her glasses, her tone turning slightly wry. The most frequent complaint was about the pricing overhaul. Some customers felt it was unfair, especially those who had purchased items before the adjustments. We've dealt with them by offering partial refunds. Shopkeeper doesn't need to worry about them claiming it in the store. We have our means to send it directly to them. He recalled the emissary of the Verdant Sky Pavilion and how she left the store in satisfaction when she entered with clashing eyebrows. I see. So, that's what happened with Miss Yu. Nothing. What about feedback? Any good suggestions? Yes, there were several notable suggestions, Yang Yang replied, consulting a small glowing scroll that materialized in her hand. Some customers have requested more variety in consumables, particularly in meals and snacks. Others have asked for items tailored for specific professions, such as alchemists, blacksmiths, and talisman masters. This one will also be dealt with by the Divine Pantheon, or specifically, the ones making the store's products. We just needed to send the request to them. Sounds great. Does that mean you don't really need my input or suggestions? I am here. Specifically because of that, I want to consult you about it. Should we order them all to be done right away, or... Yang Yang's voice trailed there as her expression became filled with uncertainty. Lin Mo shook her head with a smile. I understand. Now what you by consulting me? Miss Functionary, those suggestions should be filtered. Even if they're all useful suggestions, applying them shouldn't be done in one go. Yang Yang tilted her head slightly, her expression curious. Filtered? Could you elaborate, Shopkeeper Lin? Sure. Rolling out everything at once might overwhelm the store's operations and confuse the customers. Instead, prioritize the suggestions that align with current needs or trends. For example, meals and snacks seem to be a hot topic. We only have the instant meals as of yet and a variety of snacks. Expanding that selection could attract more customers who are looking for convenience. As for items tailored to professions, we could introduce them gradually, starting with the most popular professions like alchemists. However, considering we're already selling pills and talismans, the store should focus more on creating the tools for those professions like a fire source, cauldron, special ink, and papers. Yang nodded slowly, jotting down his words on the glowing scroll with a flick of her finger. I see. I never thought of it that way. A phased approach would allow us to monitor customer response and adjust as needed. That's quite practical? Exactly. Plus, it keeps the store feeling fresh. Customers will always have something new to look forward to. It's basic marketing. Keep them coming back. Yang looked genuinely impressed. Your perspective is insightful. Shopkeeper, I'll include your recommendations in the report to Zhenren Lihua and the product development team. Glad I could help, Lin Mo replied with a casual smile, holding back his grin of superiority. Now, I guess it's my turn to ask questions? Yes. I'll answer you to the best of what I'm allowed to say. Yang nodded, preparing another device. That looked like a tablet computer. Although intrigued by the technology within it, Lin Mo let it go after taking another look at the modern feel of the store itself. He could tell it was inspired by similar products on Earth as well. Stay tuned for updates on my virtual library empire. First, is there someone operating the Divine System interface behind the scenes? The system can answer most of my inquiries in a heartbeat. Just recently, it whipped up those packages pretty fast. Is it always that responsive to external crises? Yang tilted her head slightly, her glasses glinting in the store's soft light. I apologize. I am also unaware of the specifics of the system, but from my general knowledge, it is designed to adapt dynamically to the needs of its customers and the environment. When a significant event, such as the abyssal forest crisis, arises, it analyzes the situation and prepares solutions to maximize the store's influence and sales potential. So it's truly not just about providing convenience, it's about business strategy, Lin Mo remarked with a wry smile. What about the tracking on the products that produce the field test report? Isn't that a little invasive? We can be sued for that in my previous world. I must correct you on your first remark, shopkeeper. It is still for convenience, but it's acting with the guidance of your intention. It reads the intention behind your query. At that answer, Lin Mo couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. She's not wrong, after all. His intention was clearly mixed up with his query of assisting with the looming crisis. The Divine System interface simply followed him. Regarding the tracking functionality, it is limited to the performance of the products themselves, not the actions of the individuals using them. It ensures the system can collect data on product effectiveness, which is crucial for refining inventory and meeting customer needs. Rest assured, the store does not monitor personal details or activities beyond what is necessary for operational purposes. All right, I'll take your word for it. Now, about the poison demon cult. How much does the Divine Pantheon know about their activities? And why isn't anyone from the celestial realm stepping in to deal with them? The Divine Pantheon is aware of the poison demon cult's existence and its history of disrupting the balance in the first heaven. However, direct intervention is rare and reserved for situations where the stability of the 9 heavens as a whole is threatened. The current crisis, while concerning, is still considered a regional issue that mortal forces should handle. That said, the Divine Convenience Store's presence here serves as a stabilizing influence, providing resources that can help local forces address the threat. Lin Mo sighed, running a hand through his hair. So, in other words, we're on our own, unless things get really out of hand. Figures. Yang offered a small, apologetic smile. I understand your frustration, shopkeeper, but the Divine Pantheon has faith in your ability to navigate these challenges. The store is not just a business, it can be a tool for empowering those around you. The more you succeed, the more influence the store will have, and the greater its ability to affect change. Lin Mo studied her for a moment, then nodded. Fair enough. Thanks for the insight, Yang Yang. You've been more helpful than I expected. Yang Yang's cheeks tinted slightly pink at the unexpected praise, and she adjusted her glasses again. It's my duty to assist, shopkeeper. If you have any further questions or concerns, I'll be staying in the store for the time being. Staying nearby? Lin Mo raised an eyebrow. You mean you're not heading back to the celestial realm? What about the customer hotline? Yang Yang waved her hand with a flourish. The communication artifacts, the monitor, and other equipment she used in the hotline chamber appeared. I will be setting these up in your chamber, shopkeeper. Zhenren Lihua instructed me to remain in the vicinity of the store for a short while to gain insight and provide direct support. I'll be available should you need anything. Lin Mo couldn't help but put a hand on his forehead as he muttered, What the hell is this? We only have 2 beds and she will stay here for the time being. Am I going to take the floor tonight? Yang Yang blinked, clearly uncertain what he meant by his rambling. Before she could respond, the door to the back room creaked open, and Xiao Yu emerged holding a tray filled with steaming plates of food. Boss! Dinner's ready! Oh, who's this? We have a guest! She stopped mid-step, her ears twitching as she noticed Yang Yang. Stay updated with my virtual library. Empire Lin Mo glanced between Xiao Yu and Yang Yang. His expression caught between exasperation and resignation. Yeah, Xiao Yu, meet Yang Yang. She's a functionary from the Divine Pantheon. She'll be staying with us for a while. Xiao Yu's eyes lit up with curiosity as she approached Yang Yang, her imaginary tail swishing energetically behind her. A functionary from the Divine Pantheon? Eh? So, you're not from here? Are you also a divine being? Yang Yang adjusted her glasses, her posture stiffening slightly under Xiao Yu's enthusiastic scrutiny. I'm afraid not at the moment. I'm still a mortal working under the divine beings of the Pantheon. I'm here to assist the shopkeeper and provide support as needed. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Xiao Yu. Xiao Yu tilted her head, seemingly as confused as Lin Mo earlier. For the cultivators in this realm, the concept of a divine being was beyond their current knowledge. In other words, few were knowledgeable about the other upper heavens. That's why she couldn't wrap her head around a mortal from the divine pantheon. She scanned Yang Yang using her spiritual perception, and that easily caused her to frown. What she sensed wasn't spiritual energy, but an inexplicable energy similar to what Tai Hao and Li Hua naturally radiate. Divine energy. Xiao Yu, cat got your tongue? Lin Mo smirked at Xiao Yu's uncharacteristic silence. What's wrong? You're usually full of questions. Xiao Yu's ears twitched, and she blinked rapidly before snapping out of her daze. Boss, she's strange. I mean, she feels divine, but not really. It's confusing. Is she really immortal? Honestly, I also have no idea. But you can think of her as someone who came from the same place as Tai Hao. Naturally, he was also curious. But as Yang Yang said earlier, it was a knowledge that was too high level for him at the moment. I understand the confusion, Miss Xiao Yu. Xiao Yu is fine, Sister Yang Yang. Okay, Xiao Yu. Let me clear that up. I'm a mortal from the celestial realm, the realm where the divine pantheon is located. I'm still considered a mortal in the eyes of the true divine beings. In the future, I will become one as well. Yang Yang once again nudged her glasses, making it look like her habit whenever she's trying to compose herself. Xiao Yu tilted her, again, still not fully understanding what she meant. All right, enough. You'll get wrinkles on your face if you keep creasing your forehead like that. Put it down here and let's eat. Miss Yang Yang, since you're going to stay with us, you should try it too. They're the store's products anyway. Lin Mo flicked her forehead, bringing her out of her contemplative state. Yang Yang hesitated, her gaze shifting between Lin Mo and the steaming plate of food in Xiao Yu's hands. The enticing aroma wafting from the plate seemed to momentarily disarm her composure. I suppose I should. It would be prudent to familiarize myself with the store's consumables, she said. though her tone carried a hint of nervousness. "Great. Come on, Sister Yang Yang," Lu Xiaoyu chirped, placing the plate on the table and pulling out an extra chair. "Boss and I always eat together after closing. It's the best time to relax." Elsewhere, the news about the abyssal forest and the poison demon cult spread rapidly by the city lord, reaching various factions and sects situated near the forest. Each of them reacted differently, their responses shaped by their priorities, location, and internal politics. Some started moving right away while others chose to stand by and watch how it would unfold. Within the grand hall of the Crimson Veil sect, Sect Master Hong Ying sat on a raised platform. Her crimson robes flowed like liquid fire. Her piercing gaze swept over the gathered elders and core disciples, their faces grim as they absorbed the report sent back by the inner court disciple Zhou Rui. The poison demon cult has always been this ambitious to expand to the other side of the abyssal forest. They absorbed smaller unorthodox sects into their cult worshipping the poison demon. They may be corrupting demonic beasts and establishing strongholds within the abyssal forest, but their strength still lies in their ability to concoct poison that could even affect the spiritual body of nascent soul stage experts like me. The former sect master, my predecessor, had passed away while afflicted by it. With a solemn tone laced with bloodthirst, Sect Master Hong Ying continued, her voice reverberating through the grand hall. Our Crimson Veil is situated at the southwestern mouth of the abyssal forest, and has always stood here like a guardian to the plains behind us. We grow by using the forest itself as trial grounds for our disciples, and hunt down any members of the evil faction that would dare step foot in our region. Let it be known, our Crimson Veil will not stand idle while these vermin fester in our backyard. One of the elders, a middle-aged man who looked like a shrewd merchant with a perpetually furrowed brow, raised his hand. Sect Master, while our sect is notoriously known to be bloodthirsty and never back down against a challenge, the poison demon cult's methods are insidious. They do not fight fair. I suggest we play dirty as well. Maybe that peculiar store which had been the talk. Of the disciples' recently possessed things we might need. There's also the Azure Gale sect. Hong Ying's lips curved into a wry smile. Elder Zhao, are you suggesting we form an alliance with those pompous fools at Azure Gale? They'd sooner take credit for our efforts than offer genuine assistance. As for the store, Elder Chu, can you repeat Disciple Zhou Rui's report? Elder Chu, a sharp-eyed woman with streaks of silver in her hair, stepped forward. Sect Master, Zhou Rui's report mentioned the Divine Convenience Store. Its products played a critical role in their survival and the retrieval of this intel. They said they'd be introducing bundles and packages with reasonable prices that may be helpful to this incoming crisis. Shall we send someone to take a look at it? Hong Ying audibly tapped the armrest of her seat as she contemplated. I am skeptical of this store that popped up out of nowhere. We have our own resources and supplies to distribute. Send an envoy to the store and retrieve some samples. We'll decide what to do afterward. The elders murmured in agreement, their minds already strategizing how to leverage the store's influence to their advantage. Oh, and do not forget to buy their tutored indulgences, Hong Ying suddenly added, acting like it was an afterthought, but every elder in the room could see their usually composed sect master smacking her lips as though she was remembering the taste of something she'd eaten recently. Understood, Sect Master? We'll also procure samples of Heavenly Dew soda, spirit-infused potato chips, and spicy Tai Hao noodles. Elder Chu bowed, grinning secretly. In the secluded Lightning Amethyst sect, located northwest of the Abyssal Forest, sect leader Xu Mingzhao paced the room, his usually calm demeanor replaced with visible agitation. They had received words that surviving disciples from the Abyssal Forest incident were being transported by Crimson Veil disciples who, incidentally, rescued them. They were chased down by a horde of corrupted demonic beasts and got seriously injured. The report also mentioned how they were treated with products from the store whose name was spreading like wildfire in their region. Shu Mingzhao clenched his fists as he listened to their harrowing account. The poison demon cult dares to encroach upon our territory? This is an affront we cannot ignore, especially when they dared ambush my youngest son Zhu Ming, who had brought over disciples to scout the premises and gather herbs for our sect's reserves. An elder with a long, flowing beard and a perpetually worried expression stepped forward. Sect leader, while it is indeed an insult, we must tread carefully. The poison demon cult is not to be trifled with. It has grown a lot over the past few years. Our sect's current strength is spread thin due to recent expeditions. Shu Mingzhao's piercing gaze locked on to the elder. Are you suggesting we let them run rampant? That we cower in our halls while they strengthen their foothold in the abyssal forest? My son barely survived, and our disciples are being nursed back to health with products not from our sect, but from a store. A store! The elder coughed awkwardly, muttering under his breath. It's a very well-stocked store, sect leader. And it's the one closest to where they were found. I believe it was fortunate that they had been treated quickly. Another elder, a sprightly woman with purple eyes, interrupted. Sect leader, do you suspect that they had something to do with it? Even if you do not, perhaps we should investigate this divine convenience store ourselves. It may be possible. They're not seriously injured at all, and we're being scammed by them by colluding with the Crimson Veil. It won't be too late to correct our notion if we're wrong, and it's pragmatic to use every tool at our disposal, even if it comes from an unconventional source. Shu Mingzhao paused, his brow furrowing in thought. Fine. Send someone to the store, but do not be overly obvious with our suspicion. If it's truly backed by a divine being, we cannot offend them. Send a gift of gratitude and procure what we need, in case they're legitimate. But remember, do not let the word spread that we're relying on outsiders. The Lightning Amethyst sect's pride must remain intact. The elders nodded, though a few exchanged knowing glances. The sect leader's pride was well known, but even he couldn't ignore the practicality of the situation. Like the Crimson Veil sect and Lightning Amethyst sect, similar meetings had been happening in the nearby forces while their decision differed from each other, like taking a back seat or using the opportunity to raise the prestige of their sects. Each one decided to send a representative to the Divine Convenience Store regardless of hearing about the upcoming bundles and packages. And deep within the abyssal forest, inside the reported stronghold, a wrinkled old man wearing moss green robes was watching over the process of corrupting a demonic beast with the strength of a Foundation establishment stage cultivator. He's the high priest of the poison demon cult. Next to him, a trembling young man had his back bent forward as he reported the failure of chasing after the rats that had been spotted nearby. He was afraid for his life, but he had no other choice but to relay it to him. No matter. Let the worms struggle for a while longer all they want, the high priest murmured, his voice like the hiss of a venomous serpent. His sunken eyes shimmered with malice as he observed the grotesque transformation of the demonic beast before him. Its once natural form was now twisted and bloated, pulsing with sickly green energy. The trembling subordinate dared to lift his head slightly. High Priest, what if the righteous and neutral factions unite against us? The Crimson Veil sect is known for their ferocity, and the Lightning Amethyst sect has deep reserves of spiritual power. If they mobilize... Silence! The high priest snapped, his withered hand shooting out. A wave of toxic energy radiated from him, causing the subordinate to stagger and fall to his knees, gasping for breath. They will not unite, the high priest continued, his tone dripping with disdain. Their pride and petty rivalries will ensure that. By the time they realize the true scope of our power, it will be too late. Besides, our preparations are nearly complete. Soon, even their strongest cultivators will succumb to the poison demon's will. The subordinate bowed his head deeply, his voice trembling. As you say, High Priest. Forgive my doubt. What of the rumored store? Our spies reported it sprang out of nowhere and was backed by a divine being. It was slowly becoming a hub for the various forces on the other side. It may become a catalyst for their unity. What can a puny store do? The great poison demon is the terror of all divine beings. Send a word to the spies to burn it to the ground. But they also reported that the store sells unique products. Here are the samples they retrieved. Upon saying that, the young man produced a paper bag with the logo of the Divine Convenience Store. The high priest took it and pried into its contents, revealing a mix of items that seemed utterly mundane at first glance. His bony fingers sifted through the bag, pulling out a pack of spirit-infused potato chips, a can of Heavenly Dew soda, and a single spicy Tai Hao noodles. What in the 9 heavens are these? Please like, share, and subscribe to the videos of Dimensional Diary. It will be a great motivation for me to make more videos like this. If you have any recommendations, feel free to express them in the comment section.